It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Thursday, Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. with the one, the only, Simone behind the glass for us as we break down all things NBA, Knicks, Pacers, the games tonight. Our own Domantas Sabonis, where he finished in MVP voting, top 10 and not 10. And we also discuss what it means to complain and how you can complain in a proper fashion. And Chris Watkins must be feeling good because Chris wants to talk some baseball. That is later in the show as well during the last hour. Speaking of Chris Watkins, how are you doing, good sir?
Yeah, you're right. I'm feeling great after that Pacers-Knicks game yesterday. Our guy Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh my goodness. Will you stop?
He had a tough second half.
Just leave him be.
It was a good game. I don't know. I know we're going to talk about Rick Carlisle later, but it was a definitely physical for sure. And I'm just excited to see how that series plays out. I think it's going to go over to Indiana here, and I think it's gonna remain physical. I just think the Pacers are going to start getting a lot of calls.
They're going to have to. And look, we know how I feel about everything as far as New York and how it's been pretty obvious it feels like there's a bias, and I don't know if it was 78 calls worth of a bias, but whether that's true or not, that is what the Pacers are submitting to the league. And we talked about this, Chris, back when we've talked about the last 2 minute report a lot, and we've talked about challenging calls a lot because nobody is perfect. And what happens next, right? So essentially what this is, hey, when we had the situation with Colby Jones in Boston, right. Hey, can we protest? This isn't a protest. This, long story short, this is just to let them know, hey guys, it's bad right now. Mm-hmm. It's bad. This is the Pacers saying, just clean it up a little bit. We're about to go home. What I would have done, and Rick Carlisle, he basically said, I was going to send this in. We had 29 I think he said, after the first game like and then didn't. And now he said, hey, the way he did it, we were talking to Carmichael Dave as we were doing the transition here. And Dave said that he did it right. And Dave's probably right. But now hindsight being 50-50 or 20-20, you would say, well, maybe you should have done that. And maybe you would have got more calls in the second game. But he had no choice now. Right. You're going back to Indiana. And, it is a difference. I would say even with the Knicks and the Sixers, even though there were mostly Knicks fans in there, at least it felt like it in the Wells Fargo Center, it did feel at least more even once you got out of New York. These refs are scared, Chris, and I'm going to keep saying it. They do not want these New Yorkers finding them in the parking lot or in the corner after the game, and they don't have to worry about that when the games are on the road.
Yeah, I guess not. They see those side talk videos, and they're like, there's a bunch of crazy people out there. They're going to find my car or something. You got Ben Stiller and Chris Rock sitting courtside. I don't want that. You just don't want that smoke, I guess.
Bing bong. No, thank you.
It's definitely interesting because it's just I've been trying to figure out just how, if it's really a thing or not, because more so leaning towards these big markets, because that's really what Rick Carlisle.
You're trying to figure that out.
I just don't know if it's truly. We all think it's true, and we see things all the time, and I definitely think the Knicks tend to play a more physical style of basketball. So I just don't know how much of it with this series is just we talk about it during the regular season all the time. If you set the tone early, they're going to have to continually call it that way. And I just think the Knicks play that style of basketball, and you see how it works for them. It's just weird to me that the series are called so different. Like you have the OKC Dallas series where we're complaining about Shea getting all of these calls, and then we have the complete opposite in this Knicks Pacers series. So I just can't really tell if this is a thing. If the NBA, why would the NBA be? I guess it's just market size, Oklahoma City and New York. It just doesn't really It just doesn't make sense to me in general, the inconsistencies that we're seeing between these series.
I hear you on that. What I would say is I'll take it to the Nuggets and Timberwolves. And you have the Nuggets, who are the defending champs, but they're defending champs from a small market. And I don't even know if Denver is a tiny market, right?
Yeah.
I would put it above. It's not the smallest market in the world. And you got Jokic, you got Jamal Murray. Jokic isn't really a face of the NBA, but he is a 3-time MVP now. And we'll get into that later in the show because Shaq had some bizarre comments, some cringy comments to Jokic. But I'll put it to you like this, and I really do genuinely believe this. The way the Timberwolves have been guarding the Nuggets, they could not to say that they're fouling, but they're not getting away with that against the Lakers. And you can do with that information what you want. Maybe the Lakers are flopping more. I don't know. But there's no way the Timberwolves get away with defending the Lakers like that. I don't know how to explain it. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair. There's no way we're gonna know. I think the NBA is just in a weird place with the officiating. Like, I think it's strange that they just switched it up in the middle of the season, and then like you have to adjust in the middle of the year, and then now in the playoffs it's series by series, it's matchup by matchup to figure out how the games are going to be called. And it's going to be interesting to see once you reach the conference finals and you have an OKC Dallas series that's been called one way, and then they're going to go play, to your point, a T-Wolves Denver winner that's been playing a very physical series. And then at some point those two things are going to have to come to a head, and it'll be interesting to see how the NBA deals with it then. I personally, I think I like this more physical style of play. It's definitely giving you like the TJ McConnell and Jalen Brunson exchange from yesterday. Like, there's full on shoulders being thrown. TJ's grabbing him the entire way down the floor. I think it's cool to see the best players, the most talented players in the world, essentially like kind of playing prison ball, playing street ball, but a very, very extremely physical version of it. I just don't know if it's good for the NBA. I think these playoff games have been great. I just don't know if this level of physicality is necessarily great, because it causes so much confusion on all of these really important calls. Like, you have the Tyrese Maxey incident the other day, which they don't call because they had already allowed so much physicality.
Yeah.
They allowed that to just pass. It's just, I don't know how, if this is going to be a problem.
It's kind of a mess. Yeah. And I am interested, if you don't have a team in the race anymore, how you feel, because it's really physical, but then you still have the flopping, right? The Miles Turner call where Jalen Brunson just falls on the ground.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And his twisties are just flopping in the air, and he just gets the call. And it's almost worse. It's almost worse because it's not that the Knicks, they do not play aesthetically pleasing basketball.
Sure.
They're hacking you, but then they're also flopping. So it's a mess. Yeah. It's a mess.
Yeah. I've liked, and it's unfortunate because it should be a really good series, and I think it's going to end up being a really good series. But to your point, if the Knicks are going to continue to be allowed to play this physical with Indiana, I just don't think Indiana can deal with that. They've been a really free-flowing team all year long. They don't really defend, which is what I think has ended up killing them at the end of that game. They couldn't get stops. I'm still hearing Van Gundy complain about TJ McConnell not being in the game for defensive reasons. I think if they're going to continue, and we'll see once this transition goes to Indiana, and I think that's what Rick Carlisle is trying to do. I would imagine that, Indiana's probably going to get a lot better of a whistle, but it'll be interesting to see how much different it really is, because if it starts to look more like the whistle OKC's gotten here recently, I don't think the Knicks are going to do well in Indiana. Well, but will it then shift again once they go back to the Garden?
I mean, and maybe part of that is there a world where, and to be fair, what your initial point was, I'm not sitting here saying that the refs have gotten orders from Adam Silver to let the Knicks let the Knicks win, right? Or to let the Lakers win. I think that humans are humans, and you get caught up in the building, and you get caught up in, like momentum, to your point, momentum, whoever sets the pace. But to bring it on back home, right, to the importance of the regular season, in a way, could Adam Silver say, look, you guys can't prove, like, obviously, I'm not ever going to tell the refs to, hey, sway this way or sway that way. But they're humans, and it is what it is. But I will say this. This is why those 82 games are so important, to get home court advantage, because certain teams have really good advantages, whether it be the Knicks and just being in the Garden, whether it be the Lakers, whether it be Denver and the altitude. Right. So this is why you don't want to sell the season and you want to get home court advantage, so you are in a better position and you don't have to deal with that. There's always been a home court advantage, and maybe it's been unspoken, right? Hey, you're always going to get – it's always been said, and that's when they went to NBA on TNT, Shaq, and I think Chuck as well, you're not going to get calls on the road. Now, I think Carlisle is saying we've crossed over that threshold of not getting calls on the road, and this is just egregious at that point. But – if one were to make the argument, well, I don't think it's egregious, we'll get into the numbers here in a second. Maybe that's Adam Silver, and he would say, this is why you want home court. You guys want to sit players and end up in the fifth seed? Win. You want to end up in the fifth seed or whatever because you can coast through the playoffs? Okay. You know, we haven't seen this in so long because the Knicks have been basuda. So now that they're good and they're not garbage anymore. To your earlier point, too, we've talked about it with the Lakers before. So, the Lakers. So maybe there's always been a home court advantage, whether or not that's crossed over or not. That is what the Pacers are trying to argue. We will get into those numbers in detail right when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up, or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are going to go up 2-0 in this best-of-7 Eastern Conference semifinal series. And a rivalry renewed is in the Knicks' favor as they win the first two games at home.
Bleep Reggie Miller. He said he's owned this building, and I think
he said he's got the deed to it.
I don't know how. Maybe so. My pops, he grew up in Chicago, and it's daddy daycare right now. That's what's going on with me. Wifey is in Chicago, so it's just me and the little one for the next couple days. Just she's in Chicago. My dad's from Chicago, and I don't know what it is about. And maybe this is with all OGs that grew up with Michael and just love Michael, but they also hate all of Michael's foes throughout the year. Right. Throughout the years. My dad can't stand Isaiah Thomas. He can't stand Reggie Miller. He don't like any of them. He does not like any of them. And Reggie Miller has actually grown on me. I don't have a problem with Reggie Miller. And he had some fun with it last night. This is what he had to say. He said why it's difficult to play at Madison Square Garden. You're playing 5 versus 8. You're playing the officials as well. So this is not this. Right. I guess what we're learning is this is not new.
Right.
The Knicks just haven't been in the playoffs.
Right.
And Brunson is better than Julius Randle. I mean, when they were in the playoffs a couple years ago, whatever it was that last year?
Yeah.
It just felt different. It didn't feel like this.
Yeah. No, it definitely didn't feel
They
like
have a
this.
completely
They were excited,
different,
but it was not like this.
They have a completely different identity.
Yeah.
And they set, to your point, Chris, they set the stage all season long.
All season long.
We're going to hold you under 90 points in this
Just
NBA,
gross.
and we're going to dare the refs.
Yep.
We're going to go Legion of Boom Seahawks, and we're going to dare the refs to make this the worst looking game ever.
Yep.
The worst. You cannot call everything, or the game will take 10 hours.
And that's why they don't call, things like, we spotted the DiVincenzo chop block all those months ago. Like, that's exactly what they've done all year long is just play this physical brand of ball where, diving for a 50-50 ball, they're not going to call it because the Knicks have been doing it all season. They've been doing it all year. And so, they've done a great job of setting the tone all year that this is how they're going to play. And, it's tough to argue it when this is how it's been all year. And I don't even think it's necessarily that they are. I mean, sure, they're probably fouling by universal standards, but again, they play a physical brand of ball, and I think that's just kind of what it is when you play there. Like you said, that's kind of their home court advantage is when you're there, you're allowed to play a more physical style. And I think the beautiful part is it goes two ways. It goes both ways. I didn't really feel like, with the exception of the Jalen Brunson flop, and you can maybe argue the screen the other day that got called, I think it's been physical both ways. Like, I think the Knicks have definitely gotten beat up themselves. And, last series, Joel Embiid was beating up Jalen Brunson the entire time, and none of them were calls.
It does feel weird, though. And you do have Brunson getting to the line a lot, and we know he's a bit of a foul merchant. It does feel weird because these large markets, and maybe it's just the way they play, but the Knicks, they trailed and I'm just thinking strictly Lakers and Knicks. The Knicks, they trail a lot. They've trailed in both games against the Pacers. They trailed a lot against the Sixers. And then just something happens and they just come back, right? The Lakers would do the same thing.
Sure.
So that is why people that have the tinfoil hat on say, wait a second, why does this keep happening? All right, let's get to Rick Carlisle, and we have plenty of sound from Rick Carlisle. We're going to fire through it. This is Rick Carlisle talking about small market teams and what they deserve as well.
One guy just said he didn't double dribble, but it looked to me like, Tibbs went out there and argued it, and they changed it. That's what it looked like, So I can only go by what I see, what I saw. And that's small beans compared to everything else, but small market teams deserve an equal shot. They deserve a fair shot, no matter where they're playing. Anybody else?
So he knows he's getting fined, and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't care. I mean, if Jamal Murray can throw a kitchen sink on the court and not get suspended, then Rick Carlisle is not tripping off of it. He had to make a point, and the Raptors coach did this against the Lakers, and he said, and I don't know what he got fined, but he said, we could just stay on the plane. If you're not going to call it correctly and I think it was definitely against the Lakers, we could just stay on the plane.
Right.
And I really do think it's just, I was thinking about this, Chris. It's just those two teams, right? There's star power. Sure. I think out in Sacramento, you might say Steph Curry, but in the Bay, I can guarantee they don't think, and I don't, no fan base thinks so, but I don't see, as somebody who was on both sides, I don't see the Warriors. I'm not putting the Warriors in that category.
Yeah.
I don't know who else I would put in that category besides the Lakers and the Knicks.
Yeah, it's like because I would say the Heat, but it's only when they have good teams or good players. Like when the Heat had LeBron and D Wade and all that, they would get the benefit of the whistle. But those are stars, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure
Celtics.
I think all of it's just good teams. I think you have to be good team, good market too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They weren't helping the Knicks when the Knicks were in the dumpster.
Exactly. So, it's probably when they're good, it's the Knicks, the Lakers. You could definitely throw Miami in there at times. We haven't seen the Bulls really at a super high level with the exception of the D Rose years, but those teams were coached by Tom Thibodeau, who played a very physical style of basketball even then.
Then had to go up against LeBron and they say, okay,
exactly.
well, you're not
Cancels
LeBron.
each other out. Right? Yeah, exactly. So I'd probably say there's a big five, but to your bigger point, I think those two markets, LA and New York, definitely the Lakers, I think universally get the benefit of the doubt, but I think we're definitely seeing that the Knicks will get a whistle advantage for sure, but it's also at home in the Garden. Clippers. And they just play a really physical style of basketball.
Speaking of the Clippers, we have some sound from Paul George later in the show, and it made me think how lucky we are that no Kings players have podcasts, at least not yet. Let's continue on. We have Rick Carlisle some sound on the missed calls.
Couple examples. 5:08 of the third. The whole world knows that Halliburton's got a bad back, and Hart comes up and shoves him in the back, and it's all over Twitter right now because a few people have showed it to me, and JB DeRosa's looking right at it. You can see him. He's got vision of the play, and he shoves Ty right into the corner, and there's no whistle right in the back, and so that was shocking. And there are many others, but I can promise you that we're going to submit these tonight. New York can get ready; they'll see them too. I'm always talking to our guys about not making it about the officials, but we deserve a fair shot, and it's just not. There's not a consistent balance.
See,
Rick Carlisle, aka Jim Carrey, is fed up.
You presented the question, I think, at the top of the show, like, in the crosstalk, is there any way to do this without sounding like you're complaining? And that clip right there was the one to me that set it over the top. Like, that's where it's like, okay, yeah, we can pick specific. I mentioned that TJ McConnell, Jalen Brunson play where they show the replay of, how physical the matchup is.
He's just ticked off.
It's just like, if you're going to pick and because the Tyrese thing, I know exactly what he's talking about. I saw it.
It was bad.
It was bad. It was a two-hand shove, and Tyrese should have flopped. He should have flopped. He probably should have flopped if they wanted the call. As terrible as that is to say, but I just think that if you want to pick and choose, yeah, sure. There was just a lot of physical play on both sides. I'm not saying, and that doesn't mean that what Josh Hart did was okay or not. But again, if that's just how the series is going to be played, this is, and it sucks. It could just be hey, you lose. You don't really get the benefit of the doubt to complain, but it just feels like, hey, you guys are both playing the same game on, well, they would argue not on even field, but I think you just got to adjust. Like it's not fair, but complaining just isn't going to curry you any favor. I don't think.
Yeah, but if you feel like your back is against the wall, you're down 2-0.
Yeah.
And if this continues, you're getting packed up. I do think a lot of this, to your point earlier, is that Stiles make fights. Stiles with a Y in this case makes fights. And this is a bad matchup for the Pacers. Yeah. They want to be smooth, and I mean, it's a version of the Kings, and the Kings never beat the Knicks. They lost to the Knicks twice. Okay, so I just also think it's a bad matchup. And then on top of all this, if you're Rick Carlisle, he's sitting there saying, I can't handle all this. All right, coming up next, we have more sound on Carlisle submitting calls to the league. We tell you how many calls they found, and as Chris said, let's workshop this. What are good ways, or what is the best way to complain about something without people saying you're complaining and just not listening? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Now, I've told you this before, but this is what we call extending a good deal. Right now, American Energy Heat and Air is offering an HVAC diagnostic for $99. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Never mind. They're offering it free. It's a $99 value, but you get it for $0. Let the American Energy team test your system connections and all the moving parts of that system to ensure that it's functioning properly. Now, this is a limited time offer. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. Speak to the company that has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau that's been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, movie fans, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the IMAX experience.
This was a human place. It is not yours.
It is now, isn't it? The combination of groundbreaking visuals and the immersive experience of the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen will make this an epic event. Don't miss out on the opportunity to see the next chapter, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, at the Esquire IMAX Theater. Grab your tickets at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seat today. Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. We've got a lineup that's awesome. First up on May 24th, don't miss Tribal Seeds as they bring their reggae beats to Ace of Spades, presented by Live Nation. And mark your calendar for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets and get ready for a killer high-energy show. Don't miss music legends Daryl Hall and Elvis Costello with the Imposters on June 12th, and NSYNC and Backstreet artists Joey Fatone and AJ McLean on June 22nd. Two great shows coming in June to Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Then looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, presented by Live Nation. The Sacktown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with installation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
From the 916, and this gets right into it. All this talk about the refs. What did Siakam do? Haven't heard
anyone say anything about him. And this, and this is on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. All guests and callers, join us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop, 916-339-1140. Look, I get it. And, I saw some people, Chris, say complaining about sending something to the league and not sending a double team on Jalen Brunson is crazy. That's what you're going to get. But that's what I'm saying. Is there any good way to complain about anything? Let's say something wrong was done to you, right? In anything in life. As soon as it comes off as complaining, even if it's legit, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody
absolutely.
cares.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you can really do about it. I mean, you can, I mean, it's pretty much just the reality of the situation, especially in a sporting event, like when you lose, like you cannot present any form of complaining and not have it taken as, oh, you're being a sore loser. Oh,
right.
You wouldn't be saying this if you were winning or anything like that. And it starts to point to, well, if you would have done this, then you wouldn't have had to worry. If you would have made your free throws, the Pacers missed a lot of free throws in that game yesterday. Maybe the fouls don't matter as much.
I think what you guys are trying to say, it's that when you are critiquing something, then it is going to be perceived as complaining if you are on the losing side.
Yeah. I mean, there's no good way to do it, right? Like I told you, I watched King Richard over the weekend, and there was a show on Peacock. It was Apples May Fall or something like that. It was a story about a family, and they were all tennis players. And in both that show, which I didn't know because I never played tennis. My little sister played a little bit, but not long enough to get into matches or anything like that. When you're a young kid coming up in tennis, you're calling in and out, right? They don't have the line judges.
Yeah.
So you're calling in
honor system.
And in the show and also in King Richard, there are two kids. There is a kid in each, and the ball is in and they say it's out, right? Now, Venus, not a spoiler alert, Venus and Serena ended up being pretty successful. But in that one, Venus ended up winning the match, right? But let's say Venus lost that match, right? And she knows it was in, but who she was facing has no integrity and just said it was out. Honor system. You got to tell Venus, don't complain.
Right. No, I mean, because it then becomes, again, I think it really comes down to you're complaining about something that's out of your control instead of taking acknowledgement for what you did that led to the result as well.
Hey, Venus, that was only 1 point.
Exactly. That's what everyone's going to tell you. It was just 1 point. Oh, that's just one call. And I think maybe that's why Rick Carlisle's like, it's not one call. It's not one moment.
As Chris says that, 49.
Yeah.
Okay. Overnight, the Pacers filed 49 calls they felt were incorrect from game. That was only from game 2?
Only from game 2. He said he had 29 from game 1.
49 from game 2, 29 from game 1.
How did he have that? So, like, what, they're tracking it as the game's going on? Like, how did he get the film done between the end of the game?
I think they were already ticked off.
Yeah.
They were ticked off. That moving screen, I mean, it really got them. A total of 78 missed calls in 2 games.
Maybe this is Rick Carlisle's answer to your question. Maybe this is how you have it be. I can complain without people getting mad because I'm not just saying it's one call. I'm calling I can't remember.
It's insurmountable.
It's the whole games are in both games are in question here. It's not just, hey, the Sixers can complain about that one Tyrese Maxey inbound, and if that goes different, the game goes different. I'm not saying, sure, you could say don't put yourself in a situation where one play changes the result of the game. Carlisle's saying we can't overcome 29 wrongdoings. We can't overcome 49 wrongdoings. Are those numbers even accurate? Is it remotely true? We don't know. Drake and Kendrick, we don't know until we see receipts.
Yeah.
But hearing it changes everybody's going to say, well, I think, it's what Dave said to us in between shows. He said, it's now to the point where everyone's going to have that in their head. 29 calls, 49 calls. So now you already know there's going to be some sorry, sad Pacers fan who's literally going to watch in front of their TV and say, I'm going to count this game. Oh, okay, there was 15, 20 calls that didn't go in the Pacers' way. So he's just drawing more attention to it instead of just throwing complaints out there and, having people, as they always do, tear it apart. He's saying, no, this is something you can't tear apart. There is 49 individual instances, not just one or two things that I'm complaining about.
Yeah.
I still don't think it works. I still just think it's, if it's happening that often, then that should tell you that's just how this is happening. If
they just
think,
wanted to be dialed back a little bit.
That's fine. And that's fine.
I just
don't
out of
know.
these 78, they probably said, okay, out of 78, if the league acknowledges 30 to 40, probably closer to 30, because you know how the league is.
Sure.
They're not going to want to admit that they were wrong.
Yeah.
If the league acknowledges 30, I feel like we've done our job.
Sure.
That's probably their thought. I mean, it's a pretty decent batting average to say we feel like that's pretty darn close to insurmountable. Obviously, there's not going to be a protest or anything like that. Can we just clean this up?
Could the argument just be made maybe that this is just proof that the Pacers aren't, like, I don't want to say not tough enough, but essentially like maybe they can't handle the physicality of what the playoffs entail? Like,
It's
couldn't
possible.
you argue that if you have a team that makes it to a certain point in a tournament, and then at some point you start to say, man, things are getting way too physical out here. Maybe is that just a sense of your style of play doesn't really match up with what ends up happening at some point in the playoff, in the tournament?
It's all these free-flowing teams, right? They've all been called soft before.
It's why Chuck would say jump shooting teams couldn't win before the Warriors won, right?
Exactly. And they've already debunked a couple, right? The Miles Turner one, last 2-minute report already said that was a moving screen.
Yeah.
So some of the calls have already been debunked.
Right. Yeah.
So you're hoping for maybe 30, and I don't know if the league is going to come back. We won't hear anything else. I think Rick Carlisle.
We'll get the 2-minute report, but
maybe they just feel like they have nothing to lose. But I will say this: if you think that the league feels the same on the outside or on the inside for Boston versus Indiana instead of Boston versus New York, we know that ain't true.
Sure.
What they're willing to do to make sure that happens. Yeah, I don't think Adam is saying, hey, you know what to do. But at the same time, I think it could already be in there just from a human standpoint. And I'm not really kidding about these New York fans finding these refs. I'm honestly not kidding about that.
Yeah.
Bing bong.
They're pretty insane.
We're going to find
There's
you.
enough of them. There's enough of them.
Hey, Joel Embiid, come catch these hands.
Well, and it's also like, the reality of the situation is like sometimes, bosses are fans of the Knicks or something like that, and it's like,
But do they do that with refs? Do we know where these refs are from? Like a jury?
No, yeah, we do. And it's not always impartial, because I remember I looked it up earlier this year and the Kings were playing somebody. I mean, and there was that ref scandal last year, remember, where the that ref had like his whole family was Celtics fans.
Yeah,
or all in
yeah.
Celtics gear, and it was, brought into question like, hey, this guy's ref like 35 Celtic games and they're 30-5 in those games. So there might be something to it.
Put stuff on the jerseys. You got robot umps.
Yeah.
We saw robot umps. Frankie and I,
just
when we
do it
went to
in
River Cats. You put full body gear on underneath, right? You know, some Under Armour looking stuff. And that is how they measure in 25 years, 30 years, Chris. That is how they will measure. Oh, you can hear that on the mic. Oh, slapped hand. Okay, that's a foul. Robot refs. It's where we're headed, because these guys, they got fandom, Chris.
They could just do what they do in soccer. It's just like, they usually try and make sure it's like nobody from England is doing the England versus Germany game.
From the UK, the G League, something like that. Coming up next, we have
Montana.
We have sound from Carlisle and what he submitted to the league, and also we begin to break down our own Domantas Sabonis top 10 and not 10 in MVP voting. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Live and local, it's Stiles and Watkins. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Both Chris's, Chris Watkins and Christopher Ladd, who I think he's still here, they know more about football, soccer than me. There's this kid, I'm just now reading this.
Oh yeah.
Am I getting old? The more I read front office sports, does that mean I'm becoming more of an OG, washed up?
Hey, no.
Because I just find front office sports so fascinating nowadays.
It is.
Here's a new one. And like I said, I'm not super familiar with football, but
just call it soccer.
I refuse. My mom won't let me. By the way, shout out to my uncle. He turns 75 today. Shout out to Uncle Alfredo. He helped me out a lot when I was coming up. I went to a Virginia Tech baseball camp, and I was actually born in Virginia, and they still live out in Virginia. And he let me stay out there. He drove me to all the camps and things like that. So 75.
Oh,
Shout out Uncle Alfredo. So, and he did play some football from Panama and all that jazz. They all did. Football and baseball. Yes. And here it is, guys. 14-year-old Kevin Sullivan,
I believe that's right,
has officially signed the richest homegrown contract in MLS history with the Philadelphia Union. Now, oddly enough, front office doesn't say what it is. They say as part of the deal, the American teenager will be transferred to Manchester City when he turns 18.
Oh, I
And
wish Verlad was here.
And Philadelphia will be paid up to $5 million. So basically, they're using the MLS as like a G League. Is that what this is? He's going to be playing games at 14?
Probably not. It'll probably be a couple years. I mean, Man City's like the best club in. Oh, don't
say it.
Don't
I'm clipping it.
Don't
I'm
you
clipping
dare!
it.
No,
I
absolutely
am.
not.
I'm going to clip it.
Man City's pretty decent, and so he probably will take a couple years to eventually get up there. But I guess you can kind of view it as a G League in a sense, more so. I mean, it's definitely not the top tier of competition. But recently, this has kind of been MLS's strategy to kind of get better players. They've started to recruit more from South America and things like that, and have those young players come through MLS and then eventually get signed. But there has been a couple of American-born players who have come through MLS and then gone out to European clubs.
It's interesting. Does this feel like MLS, or is MLS just now being open to, we just want anything that's going to get eyes on us? We're not trying to necessarily, we're never going to catch the European leagues, right? So we're just going to be a cool league, and we're going to give you different reasons to watch, whether it's a star on the other side of the hill, whether it's a star before he gets to the hill. That's just going to be our shtick.
Absolutely.
I do think there's something to knowing your role, Chris.
Yeah.
Where I worked previously to this before I was in the industry, they were all about audio, right? And all you could do is play stuff through the audio. There was no video. And the whole time they would try to, and somebody in marketing, be careful, marketing, they'll steal your ideas. But the whole time in marketing, there was, they were trying to figure out, what do we want to do? What do we want to do to promote our product, whatever it is? And I said to them, and like I said, they took this and used it in the presentation. I never got cited for it. But I said to them, I mean, have you ever thought about just being honest and just straight up saying, if you can't watch the game, listen here.
Yeah.
And just understanding
know your role.
Nobody is going to say, oh, I'm sitting on my couch, but instead of watching this game, I'm going to turn it off and turn on the app, right? But instead, just saying, hey, there are enough people, whether they be truck drivers, whether they be, you got to take your daughter to a soccer game or whatever it is. And then they took it and they ran with it.
Yeah.
Know your role.
Absolutely. And I think that's, to your point, that's exactly what MLS is at least doing now to build it up. Like, it's like at some point, it's just about getting your foot in the door. And this is getting your foot in the door, because the first step, especially for soccer, is just credibility. Like, if it's not just a huge influx of money, like what's happening in the Saudi league, where they just essentially pay for credibility to get Ronaldo and Neymar over there and things like that. The MLS has had to, like you said, get David Beckham over here first. And then now Messi's here, and, Ibrahimovic was here. There's been, there's been tons of MLS old European legends that have ended their careers in the MLS. And now, like I said, they're starting to try to do it on both ends, both get the older guys here, but at the same time, this can be, like you said, almost, it's more probably like a AAA or I guess you can say G League, to where you can see these guys before they pop out in Europe as well. And then I think eventually the goal is to have your franchises be valuable enough to be able to pay these guys to where they don't have to go overseas in order to kind of be legitimate. You could pay them enough to where it makes sense to essentially be in a weird way, like the MLS needs a Caitlin Clark.
Right.
Like they need somebody who's going to champion
But
their
they would
league,
leave,
who's going
though.
to try. That's the
Caitlin
problem.
Clark wouldn't have gone to WNBA. They were
Right.
somewhere better.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the challenge that they have to do is that's probably why Caitlin wouldn't be the right example. It has to be somebody who specifically says, I want to make this thing work. I want to make this thing legitimate as possible. And even then, one person definitely can't do it. It's going to have to be, it's probably more like a Bird and Magic. They need some sort of rivalry that people actually care about, that you can invest in, that year over year will bring you back to the product.
Would it help if U.S. did better in the World Cups? Would that help?
It would help just general interest, but a lot of those players are already overseas.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
But this kid, Kevin Sullivan, he must be nasty.
He must be nasty.
He must
he's
be nasty.
He's
so
definitely nasty.
We will definitely keep an eye on him. Shout out Front Office Sports. From the 916, Chris, this is from our guy, Folsom Mike. I love how the Knicks play and don't mind the refs allowing them to play. But the game-changing calls are unreal. The ridiculous illegal screen call in game 1 with 12 seconds left, and then the refs completely bail them out of an 8-second violation with the Harkenstein botched double dribble call. I would have lost my bleep as a coach as well. 2 game-changing calls plus announcers who are giddy all over the Knicks. It's lame. Except for Reggie. That is from Folsom Mike. Yeah. And now, I don't know. This whole conversation we've had has kind of led me to what is that line, right, between, all right, you've crossed over into this isn't just home court advantage. This is unfair. Another word that you can't say when it comes to sports or life.
Right.
Fair.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear the word fair.
Sure.
How many times growing up did you hear, well, life is not
isn't
fair?
Right, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. That's why at some point it is with Rick Carlisle. It's like, if this is just how the series is, like, you know, I get complaining in the hope that it does even out and that public pressure is essentially going to hope to bring that 49 number maybe back down to 10 to 15 or something. But it's just, you have to adapt like that. It's not going to win. They're not going to give you a game back by complaining or anything like that. And I don't think that's Carlisle's intention, but I just think ultimately, you know, it's maybe, I think the what he wanted to accomplish is already accomplished. He just wanted to put public pressure. Maybe it's one of those things where we shouldn't really pay attention to what specifically he's saying, because it's more just to get the point across and to you know, go back and forth over the specifics of what he says wasn't his actual intention. But I just think at the end of the day, if any part of that was to hope for some sort of sympathy, I just don't think anybody's going to care. Personally, I just would say that's the reality of the situation. You got to learn how to play through it and deliver it back too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if they're, that's my thing is like, if they're going to be physical, like
it's too late now.
They got tiny Jalen Brunson. They got, you got the bigger players. You got Miles Turner out there. You got Pascal
They got a
Siakam
bunch
out
of
there.
fullbacks on the Knicks,
You know,
and they play like it.
Yeah. OG's out now though too.
Yeah. And then here's what, and OG was balling.
Yeah, he was.
But here's the thing, right? I think that the Pacers are down 2-0 if those first 2 games are Indiana? No. But you know what somebody will tell you? You know what the OGs will tell you?
Right.
Well, then you should have got home court advantage.
Mm-hmm.
That's
exactly.
that's just how it is. 916-339-1140. Let's go to our guy. TC wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Alan, Chris, what's going on?
Not much, man.
Not much, man. Almost Friday.
Hey, listen, hey, it's gonna be a nice weekend, y'all. But look, hey, check it out, bro. Hey, so what I can say on that, I don't want to get too much into the calls and all that, but at the same time, this is kind of what everybody was talking about when they was like, oh, the refs are getting into it. So you know what the refs said? I'm gonna take a step back. Everybody keep complaining about it. We gonna turn it back into 90s basketball. This is kind of what everybody wanted anyway. On the Kings side, Mike Brown is always preaching physicality. Okay, well, this is right up our alley, bro. So, as King fans, we can't be crying about calls and all that. And honestly, I like how the way the Knicks play. That's how I want the Kings to play. Like, it's cool with this finesse, spready, 3-point BS. That's all cool and fine and dandy. But at the same time, mix it up a little bit, Mike. Let's get gritty like the Knicks. I'm not saying we ain't got to be super gritty, but we got to throw that and incorporate that into our game plan. So I think Jay Triano, Mike Brown, Doug Christie, Luke Louts need to work on that this summer, bro, because it'll benefit us. Mike always preaching physicality. Okay, well, let's get physical, bro. That's all I got.
Thanks for the call, TC. Coming in hot on a Thursday. Nicely done, pulling it back to the Kings. And TC's right. If you ask Mike Brown, which team would you rather the Kings look like? They look more like the Pacers, and people have said the Pacers look like the Kings, which is correct. Mike would probably want them to look more like the Knicks as far as the physicality. Maybe a little bit more offense, right?
I think they became that at the end of the season.
They did.
Yeah. But to your point, they've been
a level of level of that, and that's Keon. And can they be that?
It'd be a different team.
If Malik Monk stays, can they be that?
Exactly.
If they only move off of Harrison and don't move off of Kevin Huerter, can they be that? That is what Mike has wanted. Here's the thing: everything that we're talking about, as far as what Mike wants, that was not with the actual lineup and roster and starters that they've been running out.
Exactly.
So now when these guys get healthy, let's say they run it back again, that you're not built to be what they were at the end of the season. Exactly. Now, they lost a lot of games as well, but Mike is trying to find some middle ground.
Yep.
The last thing is, it's not a matter to what you said earlier, Chris. It's not a matter of what happened, right? Or how things are being called. It's a matter of the switch up and how things have switched up. But we'll see what happens as it shifts over to Indiana, and Chris will be all eyes on his favorite player, Tyrese Halliburton. When we return, where did Domantas Sabonis land in the MVP voting? Already see people mad on the text line about Sabonis going to get snubbed for All-NBA. That can't happen now, right? Can it? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You've been waiting all winter for the snow to melt and the golf course to awaken. It's time for your long-awaited spring golf getaway to Plumas Pines Golf Resort in beautiful Gray Eagle, California. The timing is perfect to take advantage of Plumas Pines Spring Special. You can walk the course for $75 or ride for $90, available 7 days a week through May 23rd. Beneath towering pines adjacent to the Feather River, Plumas Pines Golf Resort offers a spectacular round of mountain golf. You'll love the grandeur of the Sierra, the calmness of Gray Eagle, and the wonderful test of golf at Plumas Pines with spring special rates of $75 to walk and $90 to ride 7 days a week until May 23rd. Make your reservation at plumaspinesgolf.com. Whether you visit for the day or stay a few days, Plumas Pines Golf Resort will make your play memorable. Visit plumaspinesgolf.com and make your tee time reservations for the spring special rates available 7 days a week. That's plumaspinesgolf.com.
Hi, everyone. It's Emron Pilati, host of the True Sports Card Show here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday at 10 a.m. Would you like a chance to meet Ricky Henderson, Dennis Rodman, Johnny Manziel, Randy Johnson, Frank Thomas, Vlad Guerrero Sr., Dave Stewart, and our favorite Malik Monk, and meet over 90 sports card dealers all in one weekend? This is your chance to do it on May 17th through the 19th at the Roseville Fairgrounds at the Sacramento Autograph Expo. You can get all the information about the show on our website at sacautograph.expo.com. That's sacautograph.expo.com.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Sacramento will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or send them a private message at revivemenshealth.com.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's It's the Season sales event?
We're celebrating 75 years in business by offering Dodge Chargers and Challengers at enormous discounted prices to say thank you. We're sad to be saying goodbye to the last of the gas-powered Dodge Chargers and Challengers, but we're sending them out in style. Right now, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on the very last of the new 2023 Dodge Charger and Challenger Scat Packs.
Yeah, it's hard to believe this is really the end.
Yep, once they're gone forever. Don't wait and miss your chance because there's only a few left, and with savings like this, they won't last long.
Hurry in before they're gone or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
11,000 total net savings on select new 2023 Challenger and Charger Scat Packs. After 6,000 factory rebates and 5,000 dealer discounts. 5 of this net savings, sample VIN 596361. See dealer for details.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown.
The 2024 MVP from the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic.
And we congratulate the Joker, who for the third time is the Kia MVP of the NBA.
Congrats to Nikola Jokic. Another one. Another MVP, his third MVP for Jokic. And he is inevitable, right? That team goes through him. I think now people might be, well, it's a different team, right? We know Bruce Brown, they lost a couple pieces, but people might be thinking that he's even more valuable than before because of how they're getting worked by the Timberwolves, even though the voting was already done by then. But yeah, man, I mean, I get it. I understand it. His usage is high as well. His touches are ridiculous. Jamal Murray was out a decent bit this season. They still get to a top seed in the West. And yeah, it is what it is. What are they, the second seed?
Who's that? Denver?
Denver.
They finished as the 2 seed.
Yeah, because they're playing the 3 seed and they have home court. So shout out to Jokic. He is who he is. I think you talk about polarizing, even though he doesn't seem like he wants to be polarizing. He just wants to watch his horses. But yeah, a lot of people are really confused, not about the greatness, but just about whether or not we should look back and he can have all these MVPs where we have seen. I mean, last season was the Jokic fatigue season. That's really what it was, right? And
Embiid was pretty great.
Embiid was great, but there was a conversation to be had, and now it's like, okay, well, that was the fatigue season. Let's get back to giving it to Jokic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm saying LeBron deserved it for a lot of years too. That's all I'm comparing it to.
Yeah, but I think it ends up being a thing where you look back and you can actually see why. Like Embiid averaged 33 points a game last year.
Mm-hmm.
He won the MVP. It wasn't necessarily a Jokic. They were neck and neck, and they just decided to give it to
Embiid. What I'm talking about. Everybody brings up the Steve Nash MVP, the Derrick Rose MVP.
Right. Yeah.
Embiid wasn't that. He deserved it in his own right.
For sure. Yeah. I think he's proven to be one of the best players of this era, of this generation, for sure. Is 3 too many? I don't think so. I think he's truly that great. It'll be interesting to see how many rings he ends up winning. I think that's going to end up being ultimately what decides where in the top 25 conversation he's going to end up falling. But 3 MVPs is special. I mean, Kobe gets 1, KD got 1. I think LeBron has 4. So like he's in very rarefied air when it comes to 3 MVPs. And I think he's somebody who definitely deserves it. I mean, he's 28 years old, 28 years old. Still has a couple years left in his prime. Like you said, I mean, he loves his horses. We don't know how. I don't think he's going to be like LeBron and playing till he's 39, but I think Jokic is almost underrated in terms of just everything he really does. I think people see the numbers and they, assume he's like what our friend said about Domantas Sabonis. Of course, he puts up all those numbers. He has the ball in his hands the entire time, but I think it's just not talked about enough how crazy vision he has, how easy scoring is for him. A lot of people are that big and he's not super or doesn't appear to be super coordinated. The fact that he's able to be as special of a talent as he is just, it's insane to me. And I feel like it's not talked about enough. I feel like he's Luka Doncic in a 7'3" body in terms of just skill and talent. And I just think because he's so awkward and funny looking, I just think people underestimate him.
Before we bring this back to the Kings and where Domas landed, let's hear from Shaq. And just honestly, just a cringe-worthy situation. I don't do well with awkwardness. Normally, I just talk through it. And I actually haven't even heard this audio. I heard a clip, maybe the first 3 seconds. And when I saw what he said, I stopped it when Shaq initially says what he says about him voting for Shea, because I just couldn't deal with the awkwardness. And this is literally as they're this is the first interview he's taking after winning the MVP award. This is
Joker,
Shaq.
as the president of the Big Man Alliance. You are the vice president of the Big Man Alliance. I love you, the best player in the league. I want to congratulate you, but I want you to hear from me first. I thought the SGA should have been the MVP. That's no disrespect to you, but congratulations. And what do you guys have to do to get back on track versus Minnesota?
Thank you, Shaq. We don't judge people here, so that's fine. It's your opinion. I'm joking.
No, hey, all good. I love you. I love your brothers. One thing we always going to do is keep it real with each other. Congratulations.
Just, okay. It's like nobody asked, nobody cared. And it's just, I just, I'm looking at it here too. Shaq does not have an MVP vote, not an actual MVP vote.
Right.
So it's just very unnecessary.
Well, maybe that was his point, to say, I deserve one. I don't know.
It's just why are you making yourself the main character right now?
It was bizarre.
I love Shaq. Shaq's
okay,
hilarious,
but his whole thing was keeping it. But it's like Shaq.
Yeah, it feels like when keeping it real goes wrong.
Asking Jokic a question after he won.
Yeah,
doesn't mean you're not keeping it real.
Anything. Yeah. I don't know.
We're not assuming that all of you voted for Jokic. You don't even have votes.
It honestly doesn't. It just doesn't matter. You don't have to have voted for him to still appreciate. It's one of those things where just because you think somebody is number one doesn't mean that you had to put. And I'm not saying Shaq is putting him down, but it just was unnecessary. It's just so unnecessary. I don't know why Shaq decided in that. It just,
Jokic
Shaq's all fun
well.
and funny and it's all great. And if this is the bad of having Shaq on TV, whatever, I'll gladly accept it. But it's just all right, this moment really wasn't about you. And it just kind of shows that even, and Shaq's always been this guy, but Shaq does love attention. And at the end of the day, that's what this is. I think it's him thinking, oh, a bunch of people are looking to me right now to make a statement, to not be fake. And when in reality, no. And I don't mean, it's unfortunate, but I am kind of making Shaq almost out to be like a clown where it's nobody just shut up and make us laugh. But I just don't know what, I just don't think that was necessary. I don't think anybody was thinking in that moment, what does Shaq have to say for himself right now? How is Shaq going to defend his integrity when he's been championing SGA? It's just, I don't think
nobody would have said Shaq is being fake, and it's just fear. 707.
What about the Big Man Alliance?
Yeah, Shaq totally pulled a Kanye from Aaron. So cringe, and Aaron also talks about Shaq's ego. Yeah. To me, you say something like that, and I'm assuming other guys asked Jokic questions too, because Shaq says what he says about Shea, then talks about how they're down 0-2. He didn't even ask anything about winning the MVP.
No.
So I'm assuming maybe Shaq wasn't the first person to ask a question. That's my thought process. I didn't see the whole interview, but just a bizarre decision there by Shaq in that moment. But it's not about Shaq. It's about Jokic. And if it's not about Jokic, it's about Domas Sabonis finishing 8th in MVP voting, okay? Back-to-back top 10 finishes. He was 7th in 2022-2023. He also got that 3rd place vote for Defensive Player of the Year. And Chris, this is from the 916. Is it not a troll job for Sabonis getting a vote for Defensive Player of the Year and MVP and no All-Star and probably no All-NBA? You think it's possible he doesn't get All-NBA?
Very. Yeah, I don't think he will. I would almost bet against it. I just think me and Whitey were talking about it yesterday when I did the hour with him. It just feels like with the NBA switching from not being positions to now just being the top 15 players, it's easy to say Sabonis is the 3rd center in the league behind Embiid, behind Jokic, or I guess without Embiid this season, maybe behind AD. But, when you're just saying 15 players, you get to throw guards in there, obviously forwards in there. It's not, I just feel like Sabonis, and we already know people have a feeling about Sabonis anyway. I just think it's going to be a tough task for him to get that much favor. I just don't think it's going to happen.
It's ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy. And, shout out to whoever, like I said the other day, it just takes one person. And apparently there's one person out there, there's one voter out there that really loves Sabonis and thinks he's a Defensive Player of the Year and thinks he's an MVP, because it was just one vote. It was one stray 3rd place vote. And I'm looking at an MVP tracker here. Shout out our Sacramento voter, Jason Anderson, by the way, who does have an MVP vote and did vote for Nikola Jokic for MVP. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's one of those things where it's just going to be a numbers game. And, I think Sabonis definitely played well enough to deserve it. But, at the end of the day, this is what happens when you finish as a play-in team, is that nobody's going to have you as their first priority on these lists.
They're going to make, I don't know if they're still doing 30 for 30s, but there will be a documentary on this. if Jokic keeps up this pace and he's in all these history books and you see the lack of accolades, either people are going to say, well, it was just a very offensive driven age of basketball, or people are going to say this is one of the biggest shaft jobs that we have ever seen in the history of the NBA. We just came across something, okay? And we're crunching numbers here. And this goes out to all the sell the farm, make a big move at the trade deadline people, and we're upset that nothing was done. Something just came out. We'll discuss what it is when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make this switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of the spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
Now, Chris, if I remember correctly, based on what the Knicks had for assets. The Knicks had some pretty decent assets when it came time to trade for their guy OG Anunoby.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one where
It was RJ Barrett, quickly, and a second round pick.
right. It felt like
Detroit second round pick.
Detroit second round pick. Yeah.
Pretty much a first round.
They said, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, a 2024 second rounder in exchange for OG Anunoby. Right. And Malachi Flynn and Precious Achiuwa, who does get time from time to time. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Chris, is because OG was another name that people wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he is a free agent at the end of the season, which is why a Knicks team felt more confident because they are the Knicks versus a Kings team or another small market team. But I'm looking at these numbers as it now has come out when the Kings lost to the Knicks in Sacramento. OG Anunoby, he played that game. He then did not play, and I don't know that he played when the Kings faced off against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. OG Anunoby missed a ton of games, all right? Now, because I believe of a hamstring, there is pessimism. This is from Knicks account, right? There is pessimism internally with the Knicks about OG Anunoby's status for Game 3. It's from Ian Begley, reporter covering the Knicks for SNY TV. There's no official word yet on OG's health status, but late Wednesday night, there was pessimism internally about Anunoby's availability for Game 3 of Knicks-Pacers on Friday. That pessimism remained earlier Thursday morning as Anunoby's sore hamstring is feared to be more than just a cramp. It didn't look like a cramp. I'll tell you that much. You want to know how many games OG Anunoby played this season? Okay. He played 50 out of 82. He played 50 games, and this is not a one-off. All right? Chris and I were talking during the break. OG Anunoby misses games.
Yeah.
You could argue very close to injury prone.
Oh, no. He came into the league with 2 bad knees.
And what that would have cost as a free agent, you got to stay clear, far, and away from that guy, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of if you believe in your training staff, really. I mean, he's somebody, like I said, he came into the league with 2 bad knees. He's only played over 70 games once in his career, and it was his rookie year. He's just not somebody that's been healthy. The bet is that you're hoping none of his injuries have been torn AC, nothing as bad as what it was in college. And the hope is that as he gets older, the further and further removed from those injuries he is, the more likely it is that he's just past that and he can remain healthy. But at this point, it just seems like it's always something. It's always something with him that isn't right, whether it's missing 2 weeks or pulling his hamstring or possibly more. And I don't think he'll be back for the series. It looked really bad yesterday. I just think this is who he is. He's an injury prone guy. And this was always the risk of trading for him and signing him long term, is that he probably isn't going to be healthy for most of these games.
It's not good. It's not good. And the Knicks, they made a decision. They had some pieces. OG Anunoby, great game last night, but I've seen times, or to me, I thought he had a little bit more in his bag offensively. Like I said, he balled out last night, so I'm not taking anything away from him. But when you look around at who was available this trade deadline each and every day, Chris, it seems like there is more vindication for Monty McNair and his decision to stand pat, assuming he makes a move this summer and I don't have to eat a Carolina Reaper.
Yeah, no, and then, we didn't even mention the Pascal Siakam numbers, which, have been circulating really for the past couple weeks about how he's really only done well in his first 2 playoff games. And besides that, he's been really, really tough. Yesterday, he missed 2 free throws in the fourth quarter that would have been really clutch. And he's been a good scorer for them. With their other star has been a little bit passive. So Pascal has definitely had to step it up there. But I think it's I would definitely say that it's been a little bit of validation for Monty to see. Yeah, all of these trades, they were great. I think Pascal could have taken this team to another level, but ultimately, with all of them struggling, I don't know if he's 100% right. Maybe you can still make the argument, like we said yesterday, a trade that wasn't made. Maybe you could argue the Kings could have been better, but ultimately, I I'm not super upset about them, and I have never been upset about them not getting Pascal, not getting OG. I always thought those prices were too high, especially the OG one. That's just crazy to me, especially when you think about the equivalent of what it would be for Sacramento. RJ Barrett, top 3 pick. You can imagine that's just Keegan Murray, top 4 pick.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickley, 6th man of the year candidate. Malik Monk, 6th man of the year candidate. Were you really willing to get rid of Malik Monk and Keegan Murray, or at least one of them, in order to get OG Anunoby, who, like you said, played 25 games for the Knicks down the stretch and is now hurt in some of their 23 games for the Knicks and is now hurt in their most important stretch.
And Chris, this is about honesty. And I'm not asking anybody else to be honest, but I'm going to be honest here on these airwaves. I've watched more OG Anunoby over the last 3 weeks than I really ever have. You know what I mean? And it's kind of similar to Pascal. The thing is, with Pascal, watched him a decent bit when they had that other playoff run when they ended up beating the Warriors. But I guess my point is, a lot of people see these names and they watch highlights and they get obsessed with these names and they just get obsessed with something different. And now that I've really just dug in, and obviously Pascal's not playing too well, like I said, I didn't, I had an idea of what OG Anunoby was. I didn't necessarily know. Now that I've watched him, I'm thinking about him on the Kings team, and I think he would have been a good piece.
Yeah.
But the problem was, to your point, was always the price.
Yeah. Way too high. Way too high. You're giving up way too much for a guy that, yeah, he can help. Like, OG is the kind of guy that you bring in if you're the Pelicans, right? Like, if you have a ton of extra just pieces that you don't really know how it's going to fit into your puzzle, but you feel like OG is just a great fit to your puzzle, then you just cash in those pieces for this one piece.
Right.
The Kings, and this is what we've been talking about when it comes to trades, they just don't really have the surplus of assets to get rid of. They have their guys that they like to play, and if they're going to remove, it's almost like a Jenga block. If they're going to remove one piece or two pieces, they're going to have to replace that with some real productivity. They don't have guys that have value but don't play for them.
Yeah. I saw that. And I thought, how many games did OG even play this season? That's a 50.
Yeah.
He missed 32 games.
Yep.
He's 26 years old.
Yep. That's the norm for him. Like I said, he's played over 70 games once in his whole NBA career. And it was his
rookie year.
His rookie year. Yep. And he's played ever since he's played over 30 minutes. It's been 43 games, 48 games, 67 games, 50 games. So, even when he was playing a lot, his first 3 seasons was his most consistent in terms of games played: 74, 67, 69. He was playing 20 minutes a game, 20 minutes a game,
right,
and then upped it to just under 30 minutes a game. And then the following season, he plays 43 games when playing 33 minutes. So it's just, and especially the way Tom Thibodeau's running these fools.
Oh, yeah.
He's getting no days, no seconds off. And so, it's all mileage, right? Like, at some point it's going to catch up with you. And when your body's already not super healthy, it's going to break down if you're going to play too much, if you're going to push it to that limit. And I think, as we're seeing with Josh Hart, I just think it takes a very, very special kind of player to play under Tom Thibodeau. And I don't think OG Anunoby is one of those players that I would bet could play 40 minutes a night for 70 plus games and then 2 months in the playoffs too.
He's not getting younger, and he's missing all this time when he's 23,
almost like a young
20,
Kawhi,
yeah,
right?
23, 24 years old
in terms of load management
without the ceiling of Kawhi.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the issue. And he was also in Toronto, funny enough.
Exactly.
When we return from the court to the podcast, Mike, how would you feel if someone on the Kings did what this star is doing and has done for the last couple years of his career? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
So toss to McCaffrey, a cutback 130, breaks 340, McCaffrey midfield, McCaffrey 40, 30, 20, and toasted all the way down to the 3-yard line on the first play of the game. CMC Dynamite!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Are you stressing about your IRS tax problems? Have you received notices from the IRS threatening to garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, or seize your property? You need an ally. Allies Tax Relief has tax attorneys and enrolled agents that are ready to fight for you. They have saved millions for taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief can help put a stop to IRS collections and, most importantly, negotiate your tax debt. Here's Brenda, a happy client of Allies Tax Relief.
I owed the IRS around $57,000, and they're about to start garnishing my paychecks. I heard a commercial on the radio about Allies Tax Relief, so I thought I'd give them a call. After a day, they were able to at least stop the garnishments, and after a few months of negotiations, I walked away owing the IRS only $301.
If you owe the IRS, call Allies Tax Relief right now for your free consultation. Call 800-230-5174. 800-230-5174. That's 800-230-5174.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive, all in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 5/31/24.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting sacktownsports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Kettleman's.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with installation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
This segment is brought to you by Kia of Vacaville. Check them out at kiavacaville.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Uh-oh. Chris Watkins, his boy, before we get into podcast P. That is Paul George. This is from The Ringer, and it is called The On and Off Debate about Mr. Double Down himself, Luka Doncic. An anonymous veteran assistant coach, and I hate the anonymous stuff.
It's nothing worse.
An anonymous veteran assistant coach says you can almost sense, quote, a sigh of relief among Luka Doncic's teammates when he checks out of a game. Here's a quote.
Wow.
It's a sense of, hey, now we get to play. It's difficult to have any rhythm if you're not touching the ball. Luka ball.
For sure.
I've been talking about Luka ball for a minute.
It makes sense. I mean, Luka has had the highest usage percentage in the NBA for years now. And they're like historically ridiculously high. Let me see what it's even sitting at this year. And so, yeah, it definitely makes sense. I'm not saying Luka plays a good style of team basketball at all. I think, I just really think that's how good that dude is that it just makes sense to have. He has led the NBA in usage percentage 3 of the last 4 seasons. And it's actually funny. Last season, I don't know who led the NBA in usage, but last season was actually his career high in usage percentage. So, the dude has been absolutely out of control when it comes to just, having the ball in his hands and making literally every decision possible for his team. It's pretty insane. It definitely makes sense why other professionals wouldn't want to play with him because they're like, hey, Jalen Brunson's like, hey, hi, I've got a bag too. I would like to display that, but you can't do it when you're playing with Luka.
Yeah, which
Somehow
is why
Kyrie's found the balance.
They've tried to figure out. Well, found the balance. We'll see. They might get bounced in the second round.
They might. They definitely might.
People don't know, and I've said this. Luka is going to have to change the way he plays. Do I know what that means? No, I don't know what that means. I don't know.
I don't think he has to. I just think one year he's going to be so ridiculously great that it's just nothing else is going to matter.
How is this any different to what Kobe Bryant, RIP, of course, famously said about Harden in that interview where he said, you can't win championships the way James Harden plays basketball. How is this any different?
Well, I would say it's probably not much different because Luka probably plays the most similar to that James Harden style as possible. But, I think the model is from the source himself. Like, I think the model is Kobe. Like, Kobe's tripping if he's trying to say he wasn't himself a selfish basketball player. I think the key is just understanding how to use that gravity at the right moments because, I think there's something to Luka is such a star. If he does have the ball in his hands, if he is scoring or assisting on all your points, people are just going to gravitate to him, which is he just has to find his teammates at the right time. It's, Kobe's still going to put up 30 in these games, but it's about when he drives in the last minute, not selfishly taking the layup over 2 defenders. It's about finding Pau Gasol, who's wide open in the dunker spot. That's the key for Luka. And I think he's good at it, but clearly I think if teammates continue to come out and talk about how tough it is to play with him, especially in today's NBA, it might be something that needs to change. I just don't think he necessarily has to change in order to win. I think he's individually great enough to where he will have a good enough team around him at some point to where everything's going to fall into place. But, if he wants to win multiple championships and, maybe be more like Jokic, I think it would definitely benefit him a lot more, but that's just not the guy he is. He's a scorer, and Jokic is a passer.
Right. At least not yet. And Luka can put up those assist numbers. I mean, he's no Tyrese Halliburton, but he definitely will put up some assist numbers from time to time. All right. Staying in the West, and a team that the Mavs and Luka sent packing, I saw this little promo for Paul George's podcast, and it just made me think, if this was a Kings player right after the Pelicans, how would Kings fans feel? This is Paul George with a little promo for the newest episode of his podcast.
It's not fun to be done at this stage. Because
I did not want to see you right now.
I didn't think I'll be seeing y'all in person for a good little time, but here we are.
I'm still there with y'all, but
it still hasn't hit me that we're done. You just get so used to a schedule and repetition that always stings, and you never get used to that.
So game
sounds pretty happy to me.
Yeah,
he's chilling. And there's 2 parts of this. The first one is, let's say there's somebody on the Kings and right after we did that Pelicans, we did the show after Pelicans Kings, and Kings fans were just sad, distraught. And it's been a couple days, I guess, right? Since this has come out. But now you got to see your star. And there were games where Paul George did not show up.
Yeah.
And now you got to see your star. Let's just say De'Aaron Fox. It's easy enough. Or we can do Sabonis, right? After last season, after they lose to the Warriors, a week later, Sabonis hops on his pod and says the same thing that Paul George is saying. Yeah, I didn't really want to be here, but
I didn't hear that.
No, I didn't expect to be here this soon. And I guess he's going to give a breakdown as to how he lost. And Draymond did the same thing.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of teams, right? And we tried to Google how many current players have a podcast. We were unable to successfully do that. I'll probably do it while it's daddy daycare and baby's asleep. So I'll do that next week.
Sure.
And there are not a lot of teams that don't have to deal with that. And the Kings are one of those teams. And I do wonder how Kings fans would handle. I think there is a level of, it is cool to get an inside view, but in a situation like this where you got packed up, I'd love to hear a non-media driven thought on De'Aaron Fox as to how you lost to the Pelicans 6 times. I would like to hear that. But I do think there's also a level of, man, maybe if you weren't focused on podcasting, you'd still be playing. I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching here.
Yeah. I mean, I think that people would enjoy it. I definitely would. I love the player podcast just for that exact reason. I like to hear the insight. I like to hear Domantas Sabonis say what the locker room was like, because we can't figure that out because they don't let media in quick enough to get the gauge of the locker room, which is a different story. But I think it would be interesting. It'd be very interesting. I mean, just to hear how the emotions are, how he's personally feeling, it would be great. I mean, I would have loved to hear his thoughts on what actually bothered him. We think that it's the fact that he was too in his head, but maybe he would say, what it was actually bothering me wasn't what was in front of me. It was Draymond on the weak side kept continuing to crouch over, and it just threw me off. It would be nice to know the insights, the ins and outs. And, I think on podcasts, people definitely lie all the time. Athletes like to say it cuts out the middleman and I get to tell my version of the story unedited. But part of the bad part of that is that, they can just, it's almost propaganda. They can say whatever they want. So it would be nice to get to hear from the player side what they feel about things. But, ultimately, yeah, there's always going to be downsides of your players, of having too much access to your players. Things will come out that probably shouldn't come out. Sabonis going on or whatever, anybody going on the podcast and saying, yeah, Malik, if it's a continuation of what we heard at the end of the season, Malik's gone, Malik's going to go get his money. I think at that point, people would be saying, I hate this podcast. Why do we have this podcast? Why would you say that on a podcast? So, there would be pluses and minuses.
Go get your money.
I think it would be dope. I really do think it would be cool to get some form of insight, because the Kings have never had anybody, to my knowledge, that has really given that level of insight to what's going on. I think we, as fans, we loved the run series because we got to see even a little bit of those locker room videos and things like that. Got to see the training camp videos. That's where Mike Brown turned the Jets on came from. So I think the more of those things we get, the more insight we get to the team, I think it's going to lead to better. But with all good does come some bad. And yeah, there's going to be players who will hop on the pod and say things that, we're probably going to run with. Like, no, it sounds like on the podcast, maybe Sabonis wasn't too happy with Mike Brown taking him out of that game. Like, is this a thing? Is there a rift? And, a podcast might create drama that isn't actually there, or it might create drama that wasn't there that then becomes a thing because of it. So I ultimately think it would be cool, but it would be bad. It would be very bad at the same time.
I also think there are 2 parts of this and 2 levels of fan, right? I think that you like the insight and you can remove your fandom to get that insight. I do think there is a level of fan that just sees the fact that you lost, right? And sees some dude doing a podcast, and that is annoying them because you're not playing basketball anymore. And you are a basketball player to me. I'm a fan of the team. You need to be playing basketball. I don't care about why you lost. So I do think there is probably a split there. 916-339-1140. Would you like a podcast from somebody on the Kings, or would it bug you in losses? Are you on Chris's side?
Who would be the best podcaster? That's what we should have callers call it. Who do you think would be the best podcaster on the team?
Can we not say Malik?
Keegan Murray, of course.
Can we not say Malik because he's a free agent?
Say whoever you want.
Then it's Malik, right? Is that really
It could be.
We'll discuss when we return.
We're on the other side of the break.
That's right. We will discuss when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Chrysler's It's the Season sales event?
This month, save up to $10,500 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500s. That means you can get your hands on one of America's favorite trucks starting at only $36,995. And with over 500 new Ram trucks available, you're sure to find the right truck for you.
But why drive all the way to Hoblet?
We do things different here at Hoblet. You're not just a number. When you buy from Hoblet, you become family. There's a reason we are California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation. We have big city selection and savings. With the small town feel, you can't find it in Auto Mall.
Now is the time to get the new Ram truck of your dreams. Stop by for a test drive or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$10,500 total net savings on new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorns after $5,500 factory rebates and $5,000 dealer discounts. 10th the net savings. $36,995 net price on new 2024 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Bighorn after $2,500 factory rebate. Sample VIN 140408. See dealer for details.
Not to brag, but Progressive's Name Your Price tool is mankind's greatest tool ever. Even better than the wheel. Sure, without the wheel, we wouldn't have modern transportation or funny videos of dogs riding skateboards. But without the Name Your Price tool, we wouldn't have easy access to auto insurance options based on our budget. And, well, cars do need wheels. They also need insurance, and insurance never goes flat. Learn more about the greatest tool ever, the Name Your Price tool at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-337-4168. 800-337-4168.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
Progressive presents Flo and JB announcing a monster truck rally.
And here comes the obliterator.
Whoa! And he's up on 2 wheels. That can't be safe.
Oh, I don't recommend flipping your car backwards.
Did he even check his blind spot?
And the car's on fire.
I definitely don't recommend that.
This is one of my recurring nightmares.
Progressive is all about keeping it safe, so bundle your home and auto for 24/7 protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Coverage not provided for monster trucks. Not available in all states.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Mother's Day is a special day we all enjoy, and we'd love to see you and your mom over the Mother's Day holiday weekend. Come and enjoy prime seafoods and steak. This year, we are featuring a Caribbean spiny lobster tail. They are large and succulent. We serve them with drawn butter, fresh asparagus with hollandaise at our Bennett's Restaurants in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. We offer big variety on the menu as well, so you're sure to find the food you crave. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com for reservations. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Eat well and stay well.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
Up next in Chris Watkins' free agent series.
Trilogy.
Is this the last one? The trilogy.
This is the last one, yeah.
The trilogy ends today in 15 minutes. It begins the beginning of the end. Bigs, you want length?
Hey, yo.
You want what Carmichael Dave's always talking about in his commercials? That's at 12 p.m. Chris Watkins gives his free agent list for the bigs, and I'm looking at some of these names. I'm taking a sneak peek, y'all, and there are some names that, I do think out of all the positions, fans, from what I've noticed, fans love a free agent big.
Oh yeah,
more than any other position. So we know you did not like the guards. You like the forwards and the wings a little bit more. But I think you're really going to like this free agent list. That is in 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes now. And we do want to take some time to just talk parity in the league and how it's exactly that. And maybe it doesn't feel like that, Chris, because of the Warriors Cavs, but we are finally on track, which has been a long time, right? Because you had LeBron dominating the East. Before that, you had Kobe. Before that, you had MJ. You got Steph Curry mixed in there as well. And we are really in one of the most parity-filled eras of the NBA. Maybe ever.
No, it might be ever. It seriously might be ever, because the NBA, if you do your history search, it's pretty interesting how it's just like 60s is Celtics. It's all Russell. 70s, you start to kind of get Kareem and Oscar Robertson and things like that. In the 80s, it's just Bird Magic. In the 90s, it's all Jordan. You start to get some of the Spurs towards the tail end. You get some of the Lakers towards the tail end. Mm-hmm. And then the 2000s, you get Lakers, you get Spurs. You get, like you said, LeBron, Steph, Kobe, all of it.
I forgot about even say the Spurs.
It's just it's the NBA has been a league of dynasties. It's just been what it is. Celtics and the Lakers have, I think it's much over half of the titles that have even been given out. So it's been a league where there is no parity at all. It hasn't been like football at all. But to your point, you look at the last 5 years of finals. It's Raptors versus Warriors in 2019. You've got Lakers versus Heat in the bubble. You've got 21 Bucks versus Suns. Then you had Warriors Celtics, and then you had Nuggets Heat. The Heat are already eliminated this year, and the Nuggets are down 0-2. You're about to have, what is that, 5 years, 6 years of two different teams in the title. Now I know, the Warriors and the Heat are the only two teams to have been in the past 5 years, but not in consecutive years. But I think it truly does show what we definitely saw in the West this year. It's a tough league. It is a tough league, it's maybe tougher than it's ever been. And I think the fact that it pretty much says that in any given year, if things go right, it could be your year. I think that's really what this NBA has told us. We kind of thought, or some thought, I should say, that last year was just the start of a new dynasty with Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. But I could very easily see Minnesota winning that series and going to the finals this year. Maybe this is finally the Celtics' year to win a title. And I would say for next year, I would have no idea who I would give as my favorite. I don't know, because Porzingis is ended up being unhealthy in this playoffs, which was always the big fear with him. I don't think the Celtics are still going to be in the conversation, but I wouldn't confidently say right now going into next year the Celtics should be one of the top 2 to 3. I would think so, but there's no guarantee there. With Denver, no guarantee. Minnesota, you would think, but OKC is still going to be up there, you would think. I just think there's never been as many options to win the title. I don't think this many teams have realistically been able to convince themselves we can win a title this year going into the year as we've gotten these past couple of years in the NBA. And I think it's good. I think it's good for the league.
I think it's good, but I think
for the
it's
overall health.
Yes. Is it good
Maybe for that top dollar?
The top dollar and the casual fan?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, because I'm looking here, Chris. Boston Celtics, I'm on FanDuel. Boston Celtics still have the shortest odds. Second,
they have for next year?
Oh, for this
season.
year. For this year.
Yeah.
Still have the shortest odds.
Sure.
Next season, the Timberwolves. Or next
Gotcha,
team
next
is the
team,
Timberwolves.
yeah.
The Thunder after that, and then the Knicks, and then the Nuggets, and then the Mavs. So I'm thinking here, Chris, as far as a top dollar standpoint, I don't know what it is about the Celtics that, like we talked about yesterday, they're probably one of the best teams. You can't say best teams ever because they haven't won anything, but one of the best teams we've seen to do what they've done in the regular season and not really bring any emotion. They're kind of boring in a way.
For sure.
Jason Tatum, the way he plays is weirdly boring. I don't know why, but I think everybody would probably agree with that in some way. Chris, I'm looking here as the T-Wolves are already up 2-0. You talk about keeping an eye on the reffing, and we've spent plenty of time on that as well. You got to think Adam Silver is hoping for Timberwolves Knicks. That's what he wants. I think he'd rather the Knicks than the Celtics, and I don't even know how close it is.
Probably, right? From just the sheer entertainment and from the gaining the massive audience, the Knicks would probably do it because of the big brand, because you could sell it on this hasn't happened in so many years. This is going to be a spectacle, all of it. And the Celtics are a bit of a story that's been told before. This would just be, there's nothing really besides the fact it would be the first title with this group.
They finally.
It would, exactly. We've already told that story plenty of times. I don't think there would be anything, I don't want to say significant about the story, because winning a title is significant, even if it is still a team that's won a ton, but it just doesn't hit the same as the Knicks. It doesn't.
And you know why?
Not even close.
I think I figured it out. It doesn't hit different if the Celtics win, because it doesn't change any narratives. It doesn't change anything. Because of how good that team is, unless Jason Tatum put on a show. And he's not Anthony Edwards. He doesn't have the showmanship. It's not who he is. He's almost like Mike Trout, but he's not as good as Mike Trout is at baseball. It doesn't change any narratives. Jason Tatum does not jump unless he puts up 40 a game and wins finals MVP. He doesn't jump. The team is too good. There's going to be a game where Derek White steals the show. There's going to be a game where Jaylen Brown steals the show.
Sure.
It'll be a microcosm of the whole season. So I think the difference is if Anthony Edwards gets in, that changes narratives.
Right.
If the Knicks get in, that changes narratives. The Celtics, they missed their window of people caring.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, again, that story's been told. I think people are just, at this point, it's like, just win it. Just get
win
it.
it so we can go away.
Yes, exactly.
And the Nuggets, nothing changes. Jokic is already going to be
he's already a
top player
MVP.
Top player of all time.
Yeah.
So I think that is the most to gain as far as if I'm Adam Silver. That's who I want. I want, and I don't even want the Thunder because I don't love how Shea plays.
Well, and the more that you can build up, the better for your league, right?
Yeah.
If you have more, it's not, if you're telling the same story of the Celtics, that's not really building anything. If you're all of a sudden, like you said, adding the Knicks and the T-Wolves to champion conversations, that's adding two or one more team to the conversation of, wow, the Nuggets, the Celtics. People are still, whether they're right or wrong, they're going to say the Warriors, the Lakers, Miami, all of these teams are going to have chances. It just adds more names to the pot.
Coming up next, Chris's big free agent list for the Bigs. you're going to want to hear this. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Your one-stop Honda shop.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Sacramento will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 916-365-4566 That's 916-365-4566. Or send them a private message at revivemenshealth.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
You know I love these. Before we get into Chris's free agent list, by the way, from the 916 on the text line, from Chris, definitely think JaVale would have the best podcast. I think that's a good one.
That's a great shout.
That's a good one, 916.
That's a great shout.
I like that for sure. On the text
Probably
line,
has the most connects too.
I saw one on the text line. It said, it had a whole name and everything, from Amid Rock. Best podcaster, I think, would be Colby Jones and Mason Jones.
Huh.
They can call it CMJ Squared Pod. That is from Amid Rock. And Manny Too Legit says Keegan, Fox, and Monk should have their own podcast. That's too many people, Manny.
That's too many. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
There's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Because then you got to have a host.
Then
too,
you have
right?
the mediator who we never know who they actually are, but they're there and they're always so comfortable. And you have from Joe Giroux, friend of the show, Keegan's podcast would rate various styles of milk and how delicious he thinks they are. Spoiler alert. They're all delicious. All right, keep them coming. Who would have the best podcast as a Kings player? And honestly, it's happening soon. And I told you this, and De'Aaron Fox still trying to have him on the show. And I told you this. I said we've seen a lot of combinations before with all these podcasters, right? We know Rasay knows ball. Okay, De'Aaron Fox's partner, Rasay Fox. What about those two doing a pod where they talk ball?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I think De'Aaron would be the one who doesn't want to do it.
That's probably right.
That's
probably right.
I think Rasay would be totally down. De'Aaron's like,
That would be unique. All right. Before we get into Chris's free agent list, I found this, and I cannot help a good parlay with just ridiculous opportunities, we'll say. So this person, what would you do? All right. Text line, call line, Sack Chat, 916-339-1140. What would you do? What side of the fence are you on? Simone, we're going to get your take on this as well. This person put in $100, and you don't know because in California you can't do it, but once it looks like you're getting to a certain spot, you have the opportunity to cash out, okay? This person via DraftKings placed some cheese on the Thunder, the Chiefs, and the Rangers all winning championships. Obviously, they're 2 for 3 right now.
Oh, wow.
They're just waiting for the Thunder. They put in $100. They can cash out right now for $100,706. Okay? Or they can hold on, and if the Thunder win, they win $1.7 million. Are you holding on for the 1.7 milli, the Thunder up 1-0, or do you cash out at $100K?
I would love to hear Chris's eloquent response firstly.
I would wait it out. I would still cash in, but I'm not cashing in right now. I would let OKC get closer to the final first, and then I would cash out.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think they're going to win.
What if they lose
but
tonight?
I think that they're going to at some point be closer than this. Because if they get 2 wins, then I would imagine that
it goes up.
If it becomes like
deal
your
or
fear
no
is
deal.
that it becomes a Game 7 situation, and at that point, you kind of need to get the win at that point in order to probably make more. But I would bet on, well, not literally, but I would bank on them making the conference finals, and then I would probably cash out. I don't know if they'll make the actual finals. I would cash out during the conference finals.
This is a foolish question just because I don't know. There's no way it's not going to go down, right? That amount, they can't be like, now it's only going to 70K if they start losing.
No, I think it would.
It can fluctuate.
Yeah, I think it would go down. I think where you're heading, Simone, is probably where I'm heading. It
probably does get to the point though where you couldn't Like if they go down 3-1, like I don't know if in theory, I don't know if the casino would still honor that because they would be like, well, they're about to lose. So no, I'm not going to cash that in because you're going to make $0 instead of me just giving you 70,000.
I am Charmin soft. I am absolutely cashing out at 100
right now. Yeah. I think I'd probably get
with me.
Yeah, I would get scared
if it's one or the other.
If they got to 3-0, I'd be excited as soon as the Mavs won
a game.
Yeah, as soon as it goes 3-1, I'm cashing
out. Me too. Exactly.
As soon as that happens, I'm cashing out. All right, time for Chris's free agent list. What do you got for us today, Chris?
We've got the bigs today, and the forwards. I think people seem to like the forward list, definitely more than the guard list, and I think that's just has to do with team need and the fact that, frankly, I mean, I do think the list of forwards is just a better list of available options. Centers, I really. There's things there for sure, but I didn't love the list of centers. We did get a decent amount, though. I think there's just under 10 guys that I have. It's just targets. These are just guys that should be on your radar, I think, for the Kings to potentially go after. And I do want to also shout out for the forward list. Obi Toppin. I didn't have Obi Toppin on my list. Shout out Bobby Gerald responded and put that as an addition. Obi was crazy yesterday for about 3 quarters. Definitely would love to see that version of Obi Toppin on the Kings, but also looked at his numbers and was really surprised. Obi shot 40% from 3 this year. That's really big for him. And speaking of big, let's move on to the bigs. And starting with this first one, this is one that might not make a lot of sense on surface. I will give that as a note. But Jonas Valanciunas is a guy who plays with Domantas Sabonis, is a fellow countryman of Domantas Sabonis in Lithuania. And, I think the fit isn't perfect. I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to start both of them, definitely. I think the thought would just be this allows you, and this is probably more of a Malik is gone and you do need some sort of steady bench presence.
Right.
I don't know where Jonas is at, where he feels like he's at in his career. He's a 32-year-old center who has played a good amount of NBA basketball, has been in the league since 2012. I don't know if the Pelicans view him as a starter. I don't know if he views himself as a starter. If he's willing to kind of do what Malik did and come off the bench, but be a de facto 20 to 25 minute per game player, I think he can be very, very useful. It allows you to play without Domantas Sabonis out there for 40 minutes. He's a more than useful center, is a big body, which is something the Kings kind of struggled with. I think it's why when Alex Len was out there, he was so noticeable. Is just he adds so much size and physicality to this roster.
Alex Len and Valanciunas?
You could. You wouldn't have to, but you could. I don't think Len would get minutes if Jonas is playing, but obviously if Jonas goes down, it'd be better to have Alex Len, who's, no disrespect, but probably a poor man's version of that. So Jonas Valanciunas is a name I like, but is more of a situational addition, but still somebody I think has some value for this team, even though he's not a perfect fit, maybe. Precious Achiuwa, someone who's in that Knicks series, and he's just a grinder, man. Like this is your modern day Kenneth Faried, your Montrezl Harrell. This is just an absolute energy machine, offensive rebounding monster, can get double doubles. I think he was top 10 in bench double doubles this season. So he can be productive in a limited role. He's a little small for to be the only big man out there, but he is also really quick, can move really well. If the Kings want to play a high pace style of basketball, I think he'd be good for it. I think he's a lob target. I'm not really super familiar with just exactly how explosive he is as a rim threat, but I definitely think there's a lot there just from an energy guy. And I think you can mold him into kind of whatever defensive guy that you want him to be. Jalen Smith is a name Whitey and Jerry Reynolds both really high on. He was drafted in front of Tyrese Halliburton, somebody who, I think Phoenix definitely regrets that. They took Jalen Smith at number 10 instead of taking Tyrese Halliburton. It would be interesting to see his fit with the Kings. He's more of a stretch big, kind of funny enough. He's on the Pacers. He is a little Miles Turner-y.
Right.
And I think he's somebody who you're banking on has a little bit more to grow. You're kind of doing the secondary draft thing where he's past his rookie contract and maybe he wasn't groomed correctly in the NBA and can use a little adjusting in the right situation. I think Jalen Smith would be a good addition. Isaiah Hartenstein, kind of same thing I said about Precious Achiuwa, just a better version of it. His thing might be, he's playing 40 minutes a game right now with the Knicks. If the Knicks want him back, which we don't know, Mitchell Robinson, they got Julius Randle, they might not have the same minutes for Hartenstein, but just watch this playoff series if you want to get what Isaiah Hartenstein brings. Yesterday, he almost had a triple-double, so a little bit of playmaking in there that I wasn't sure he had. So obviously, when you're going to be backing up Domantas Sabonis, it's great to have some playmaking so you're not just completely doing different things. Maybe you can run a little bit of the same actions when Sabonis isn't out there. Same thought process for Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee's probably more of a personal thing for me. Really like Mason Plumlee's game 2 years ago. Was up near the tops in the NBA in screen assists, which is a number Sabonis is always really high in. So I think, again, just kind of having that same kind of mold for your backup big as your starter. Andre Drummond just went crazy. Andre Drummond went crazy this year off the bench, had tons of 15 games. Is somebody I definitely think you want in tiny spurts. I don't think you want Andre Drummond playing 30 minutes a night for
Anchoring.
you. Yeah. I think those days are over. I remember I think there's a Bleacher Report article from 10 years ago at this point where they said, looking 15 years into the future, who are going to be the best players in the league? Andre Drummond was number 1 on that list. He's so far gone past that, but he is still a decent piece and somebody I think would bring some physicality and some size to their bench. I don't know if it'd be a good fit for the style of play the Kings play, but Andre Drummond's definitely somebody with some talent. Daniel Tice, just kind of another energy guy. He plays for the Clippers as well, so it plays in a winning situation. Goga Bitadze, that's a personal favorite of mine. He's a shooter. This dude can definitely, I think with a bigger role, he can have a big impact. He's kind of a stretch 5 a bit. Really like his game, really efficient. Doesn't get to play a ton for the Magic, but in the little bit that he does play, looks really good. Luke Cornett, fantastic player for the Celtics. Another guy, you give him some opportunity, I could see him thrive. Alex Len on the list. I just think Alex Len has shown throughout the years what he can bring. The last one I have on here is Thomas Bryant, who has a player option for $2.7 million. He's on the Miami Heat. He's infamously in the picture where LeBron James breaks the scoring record. He's posting up, asking for the ball in the post, so that will forever be memorialized. But Thomas Bryant, really good hustle guy, really good rebounder, still really young. He's 26, has been on some good teams. He was on the Heat last year.
He's on a different team every year.
Yeah, he is. He has literally pretty much been on a new team every year of his career. And has just really not found a situation where he's been able to find a role. I think in Sacramento, if he were to be given a similar opportunity that we saw Alex Len and JaVale given this year, I think he could do that. I think he can play 40 to 50 games for you and give you pretty good center minutes. Plus, he's still young, so I think there's still a little bit of meat on that bone to maybe make him an 82-game player.
I have thoughts. I'm sure Chris does as well, and I'm sure you do as well on this list. We will get to them coming up next. 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hey there, wanted to take a moment of your time so I could talk to you about insecurity. I could talk to you about confidence. I could talk to you about girth. Yeah, what? Girth? Yeah, okay. Let me tell you about the Upsize Clinic at UpsizeMatters.com. My good friend, Dr. Jack, and his friend, Dr. Pash in San Francisco, have a safe, effective, long-lasting doctor-performed procedure. It's non-surgical, virtually pain-free. Now listen, girth is consistently ranked as the most important attribute. What Dr. Jack and Dr. Pash are offering is a free consultation. The procedure can be done on the same day as your consultation and get that confidence back. Reset in the bedroom with your partner. Financing is available. It's very private. It's very discreet. Available in Roseville with Dr. Jack and San Francisco with Dr. Pash at upsizematters.com. That's upsizematters.com.
.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Chris, I had some friends come up yesterday, kicking it into Thomas. What did they have to say? That they love Sacramento. Sacramento is growing. Sacramento is beautiful. Definitely beautiful this time of year. We didn't even get to take them downtown. They'll be returning. And, I do think it's a bit of a hidden gem in a way, which is really funny since it is the state capital. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I do think at some point, Sacramento is never going to be the same market as LA. It's never going to be the same market as what we just talked about with New York or anything like that. But this idea that Sacramento will never, ever, 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 because of the 90s or whatever, that they're just never going to get a free agent. I just think it's going to end soon. I don't know who that person's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Paul George or a huge name, but we're also not bringing up the biggest of names unless they're trades. Yeah. So this idea that you're just unable, the Kings are unable to ever get a free agent besides the free agents that they did get.
Right.
So I just don't understand. Why is it that is it that you just feel scorned because of Sacramento? Yes. That it just upsets you? The words free agent just trigger you?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just
the Kings also haven't been good.
Yeah.
It's less about, first of all, the city of Sacramento is being built up every single day. All right. You're gonna get the A's next season for at least 3 years. Second of all, free agents, they don't go to small market. You know where else free agents don't go? To teams that stink. The Kings don't stink anymore. Okay? So do I think that the Kings are ever going to be in the runnings for the top free agents in the league? Probably not. But that's also not what we're talking about. And that's not a Sacramento thing.
No.
That's
Celtics don't get free agents. The biggest Celtics free agent is Gordon Hayward.
I don't understand why people get so upset.
It's people like to, feel bad for themselves for whatever reason. I can't explain it, but I truly think that's what it is that people have to find some reason why they're always going to be why it's never going to work for my team. Mm-hmm. Why is everybody against my team? Oh, free agents. And it's like, again, I'm not picking the top names from the free agent list. I don't have James Harden on any of these lists. I don't have any of the top free agents on this list because, it's not even a Sacramento thing. It's just the Kings aren't in a position. They're not in a financial position to get any of those people, first off. Second off, they're not in I wouldn't think a competitive enough position to entice those people. Like, I think Denver can maybe start to get to that level, but I don't even know if players would want to sign up for Denver. So I don't know. I think it's too much. I think people just like to feel bad about their teams and will always try and say, this is why things never work out for us. Nobody ever picks us. We're always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And, at some point, it'll change. It'll change because you're right. Like, Sacramento changes every day, it seems like, and it's no longer the cow town that it felt like it was in the 90s. And now there's, you got K Street, you got J Street, you got R Street, you got just going down 16. You can do so many things downtown. You got Folsom if you want to live in El Dorado Hills and be with people who are of your tax bracket. Sure, like there's tons of stuff to do here. It's not like it's a city that has absolutely nothing to do. Sure, for maybe 100 millionaires, there's not much privacy in the city to go to, but I don't think that being in Sacramento is going to affect Mason Plumlee's decision. I don't think it's going to affect, maybe Andre Drummond would rather be a bench player in LA than Sacramento. That's fine. That's whatever. But it's not going to completely hamper your team building just because you're here in Sacramento. I guarantee Jonas Valanciunas, Precious Achiuwa, Jalen Smith, I guarantee all of these names would consider Sacramento, because at the end of the day, there's only 30 places that can offer these guys a job, and you'd be stupid to say, no, I'm not going to go to that place because it's ugly to me. Like that's ridiculous.
From the 530, are you denying Sacramento has a stigma that's different than other teams in the NBA? Well, 530, I would need to know what exactly that stigma is. But what I do have in front of me, Chris, is
I think it's just more that like I think we just overhype how excited people are to go to the other market. Like like
we did this in a way a couple of days ago, right? It's LA, it's Miami.
There's a couple destinations. Everybody else is fair game.
Let's stick to the Western Conference, okay?
Is there really a difference between, besides financially, obviously, because we've discussed the Florida, the state taxes.
Right, talk about that.
But like, yeah, that's way more of a factor than you really think there's that much more besides maybe Orlando's not the right example, but like maybe Orlando's not the right example, but there's tons of markets that are out, OKC, obviously, even Denver. Like, I don't know if Denver, Utah for an NBA player, I don't know if that's better than
I have this. Let's go through them. You got the Blazers. Okay, Portland.
Portland's great.
What are we talking about?
Simone's a Portlandian, but it's great. But
I'm talking NBA players
exactly.
Here.
Like there's no
okay.
There's nothing wrong with the city of Portland, but
Spurs. All I know about San Antonio is a Riverwalk.
Yep. Alamo.
And stuff great. About that jokes that Chuck's Charles Barkley that I'm not going to say on the air.
Yeah.
Next up, the Grizzlies, Memphis. Come on, what are we talking about?
Barbecue.
Yep.
Sure. Utah Jazz. Chris just brought up Utah. You got to get in pretty early there. They got curfews and things like that.
Definitely.
After that, you got the Rockets. Houston. I don't know what to do with Houston.
I hear Houston's great.
I've been to Houston.
Yeah, I hear Houston.
The stuff you can do in Houston.
James
be careful.
Harden had a great time.
Be careful out there in Houston. I know Houston for a different reason that I will not say on the airwaves. Next, you got the Warriors. Bay Area. Sure, I'll give you the Bay Area.
Yeah.
We won't argue that one. New Orleans is confusing to me. The city is great.
Sure.
But
Food's great,
the market, I don't know.
Nobody cares about the team there.
They're not. My point, I don't think a free agent is, maybe the city of New Orleans. And I don't even know how much of that is the city in terms of living in New Orleans versus going for a bachelor or bachelorette party or going for a Zydeco dance or something like that. Besides living there or going for Fat. Thank you. I've gone to plenty.
Like, wow.
Fat Tuesday versus living in New Orleans. All right.
And we're not, thing as Vegas.
We're not
right?
We're not bagging on these cities. Next, you have the Lakers. Fine.
Of course.
Phoenix, Malik, maybe for golf.
Yeah, I hear golf is great there.
I mean,
community.
Are we really? How much are we taking Phoenix over Sacramento? And for these names,
sure.
These names equal just the cities, right? After that, Dallas. Don't know what to do about Dallas. Everything that I know when I've been to Texas, it's about Austin. Stay weird in Austin or where the other cities. Dallas. Last I checked, Dallas was one of those more. They were trying to build up their own kind of tech hub in Dallas. All right. I have not been. I've been to Houston and I've been to Austin. I have not been to Dallas. Sure. You want to take Dallas? You could take Dallas.
I went about 10 years ago. The downtown is thriving for sure.
There you go. Okay. So we've counted about besides the obvious ones in the Lakers, the Clippers, because they're in LA as well, and the Warriors.
Knicks too.
I'm only doing West for now, just for fun. Sure. Just for fun. We can do the East after. So I've count Warriors, Lakers, Clippers. I can fine. Do you want to put the Texas teams in there?
Sure.
You want to put Houston?
I would say Houston, Dallas. I don't.
Dallas,
San Antonio. No.
Yes. So that's 5. Are we putting New Orleans? I don't think we should.
I personally agree with your take on New Orleans, where I think it's Vegas to me, where it's like it's a cool place to visit.
You want to live there?
It's a fun place for sure. Great food.
Yeah.
But in terms of, if you're looking for.
There was a Zion joke there, but I'm not going to say
exactly.
By the way.
I mean, I'm sure, whatever. Put New Orleans.
Okay, so 5. There's 15 teams in the West, obviously. So we're at 5. Next, okay, and I've already counted Clippers. After that, we have 3 more teams because I went in backwards order. So now we have the 3 top seeds. Minnesota? No.
I mean, no different than. I don't know why you would say
Denver.
Don't know why you would say any different. Sacramento's still a top 25 media market. Like it's.
And last but not least, the Thunder.
Yeah.
So
there's no way. Sacramento, I would again. Sacramento is above OKC.
So 5 or 6, and 2 of them are in LA.
Yeah. And
nobody wants to talk about free agents. Okay, because it was a countdown a long time ago.
Yep.
I don't think it's as downtrodden and as dark as people think.
I think
maybe I will get a reality check this summer. Maybe.
I think it's more of it was the reality when the team sucked. I mean, essentially, nobody's going to go to Sacramento when the team sucks and the market is okay, because that will then bring down the market. But when the Kings are good, you can start. It just feels like it's just not that much of a big deal, because you don't want to be on a losing team and have nowhere to go. I would say the Kings are winning and there's enough to do to where it's not an overall negative. I think when the team is not good, I would say maybe the city isn't a positive enough to balance out the scales. But I think when the team is good, the city has more than enough to offer to make it worth your time. I think it's just the fact that it's not actively working against you. Like maybe it was in the late 90s or in the 90s in general, in the early 2000s. I would say now it's not actively hurting you. It might not be helping you necessarily, but I think it's at least keeping it afloat.
916-339-1140. Be a part of the conversation. Does talking about free agents make you sad? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another 3-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-881-4242. That's 800-881-4242.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Kettleman's.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Thunder, feel the thunder. It ignites something inside of you. Lightning and the thunder. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it. Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder. Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't. right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
Do you hear that? That's your air conditioner working overtime this summer. But it's not just the temperature that's rising, so is your electric bill. Stop paying sky-high rates for your electricity with a solar electric system from Aztec Solar. Finally, you can calculate your monthly savings when you go solar without sitting through a 2-hour in-home sales pitch. Visit yourpowersavings.com and Aztec Solar will text you how much you'll save each month by going solar. Since 1980, Aztec Solar has helped thousands of homeowners with solar pool heating, solar electricity, and backup energy storage. Going solar is like getting an extra paycheck every month. How much will your paycheck be? Find out at yourpowersavings.com. Yourpowersavings.com. Looking for a deal today? Now you can own a solar electric system for just $99.95 cash offer after incentives. Act now. This offer expires soon. Aztec Solar. Solar and only solar since 1980.
This segment is brought to you by Kia Vacville. Check them out at kiavacville.com.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Got some texts to read through. People still telling us why. And here's the thing. You're right, Chris. The Kings don't have a crazy amount of money to throw around. So it's hard to say, let's say they don't get, I still don't think they won't get anybody, but let's say they don't get anybody on any of your free agent lists. They just get some smaller pieces. They do what they need to do through trades, right? Whatever. Then people will say, well, that's because they can't get free agents. And then it would actually be, well, they can't. You could say it's the market, but it's also a couple things. It's the market, it's how you're viewed as a contender, and it's money, right? And I think that they're in a better place, but no, are they in a prime place? If they had a bunch of money to throw around, it was the Giants last offseason, before this one, where they were trying to get Judge and a couple other guys, and Correa was here for a day, and then he left. The Giants had money to throw around, and they were saying, hey, we're offering the same amount. Well, does anybody want to take our money? Does anybody want to take our money? And that's San Francisco, and nobody's taking the money. Then you had people come out and talk about San Francisco as a city and things like that. But the team was also that team is not ready to win a World Series. So it's not as if the Kings have so much money and people are just refusing to take it. Maybe that's how it was in the past, but truthfully, the past is the past, and it is what it is.
Yeah, there used to be a King's tax.
Yes,
where
exactly.
You would pay $3 to $5 million extra dollars to get your guy.
Got a couple here, Chris. This one's from the 530 responding to the stigma, and they said, Cowtown, we know it's different now, but Cowbells and Phil Jackson calling Sack a Cowtown is still the stigma to the outside, right? Let me say something. These players that are in the NBA, Anthony Edwards didn't even know who Alex Rodriguez was, who was an owner or is an owner of the Timberwolves. These dudes don't know what Phil Jackson said all those years ago.
No,
they don't
not
care.
Even a single clue.
They do not care.
There's probably, I would be surprised if there was 2 NBA players who could give the reason why Kings fans ring the cowbells.
That's a great point.
They're probably just like, oh yeah, it's just
how
something
many players
they do.
on the Kings know why?
No, none. Maybe maybe JaVale, maybe Harrison, like the oldest guys on the team.
Yeah. They've probably been told, but
exactly,
did they know when they got
were
drafted?
Told. Exactly.
Did Keegan know first game?
No.
He probably, hey, why are they doing
what is it?
What is that?
Or is it just a noisemaker?
I do not think that's a stigma. I will continue.
Yeah, I don't think so anymore.
I will continue to say that the Kings are just in the same situation as any other small market team. I do not think it is any worse.
It's not that there's not a tier difference. It's just they're not alone in that.
They're not, but it's not big markets, middle markets, small markets, dot.
Yeah.
And then the Kings.
Yeah.
That's not
Sacramento.
That's not. Well, unless Mad Dog is everyone's
that
agent.
guy probably thinks
For
so.
Mad Dog, it is. Mad Dog, we give you a $300 million to do a show out here. You probably say, can't do it. Sacramento. Can't do it. All right. The next one, Chris, and this one is interesting as well. The Kings aren't just any run-of-the-mill small market team. They are historically bad, like in all of the major professional sports, small market teams. How people don't understand that being historically awful hasn't set this franchise back for probably forever. I don't get it.
They're past that, is what I would say. I don't and now maybe they're on the start of a new drought, but I think that as crazy as it is, I do think the one, or whatever you want to call this past year, if you want to add that as a second year of success, has truly changed it. Like, I do think people see that Sacramento has a stable GM. If they keep Mike Brown, it'll be a stable coaching situation. They have not traded off any of their stars besides Tyrese Halliburton by next year, it'll be pretty much 3 years that they've had the same Fox, Sabonis, Keegan Murray. They will have the same core. Everybody who is paying attention will understand the situation has stabilized. Sure, if you turn on, First Take or whatever Skip Bayless's show is these days, they're probably going to still treat Sacramento like it's the mid-2000s. But I think in the league, if you talk to players, if you talk to execs, if you talk to agents, I would tell you that they will probably say Sacramento is a stable situation. They don't view Sacramento the same way they would view Detroit or Charlotte. I think those situations are clearly worse than the situation the Kings are in now, which is all agents care about, is the situation I am putting my client in here, right now. They're not thinking, unless you really have a vendetta against Vivek, you're not thinking, they're going to go right back to the same 15-year drought that they were just in.
I think that people are just, and again, I moved out here not too long ago, but I think that everybody is overselling how much people care about the past, especially 23, 24-year-old dudes.
Does anyone bring up Minnesota sucking? Minnesota had the second longest playoff drought.
Right.
Does anybody even know that? I don't think so.
Minnesota!
By the way, speaking of the Hornets, Charles Lee has agreed to a 4-year deal to become the Hornets head coach, which means that JJ Redick will be the head coach of the Lakers sooner than later. But this is what we're saying, right? This is essentially what I'm hearing from, if history matters, okay? And because the Kings have been so bad, free agents would rather go to the Pistons than the Kings, because the Pistons won a championship in 2004.
Right.
They've had technically more success than the Kings. So right now in 2024, free agents would rather go to Detroit.
I don't even think you have to go that drastic. Like Atlanta Hawks, which is a better situation right now for your client. The Atlanta Hawks, who have every single player on their trading block except for Jalen Johnson.
Equal money for all the deals that we're making up in our heads.
I just don't see, if I cared about basketball and which basketball situation I would want to put my client in, at the very least, to the point of the argument, I don't think I would think of Sacramento any worse than I would think of Atlanta. And if anything, I would say Sacramento is in a better basketball situation. I would rather have my client go to the better basketball situation, even if Atlanta is a bigger market. The way that team is currently constructed, it seems a lot more of a mess, and like there's a lot more question marks in that situation than in the Kings. And Atlanta's not a Detroit. They're not a Charlotte. They have Quinn Snyder. They've had Trae Young. They went to the conference finals, 2-3 years ago? So that's a team that's had recent success. They're in a big market, but I don't think that situation is a situation that people would rather have over Sacramento.
Quickly, just going through, we had Joe on the Sac Chat wanting us to talk about the Eastern Conference. So I have him here. Pistons, no. Wizards, it's a weird one because it's DC, but I'd say no.
Say no.
Hornets, no. Raptors, Drake don't even go to the games anymore.
People actively don't want it. Well, in the past, if we're bringing up past,
right?
In the past, people have not wanted to do all the headache that comes with playing in Canada as well.
Brooklyn, I guess.
Yes,
technically,
yeah,
it's
sure.
New York.
Yeah.
Hawks, to me, that's the same as...
It's a bigger market, but I just laid it out. You know?
Right. I put them in the same category as the Dallases of the world.
Yeah.
They're not, sports-wise, not huge, but besides the Cowboys. But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Fine, I'll put the Hawks there, but my finger is kind of half up because of the situation. Chicago, sure.
Yep.
Miami, sure. Philly, sure.
Yep.
Indy, no. Orlando, no. Cavs, no. Milwaukee, no. Knicks, yes. Boston, yes. So all in all, that's 7 plus the 5. So that's 12.
12 over the 30 teams. So again, half the league, pretty much.
That's 12.
Yep.
That's 12. All right. And now you guys are moving the goalposts. Somebody's saying 916. The tax thing, too. Yeah, we know about that.
Yes,
we're talking about
that's a legitimate-
Sacramento.
Yes.
We're talking about Sacramento. 209. Well, Wemby is enough to make SA a better situation.
Yeah.
We're moving the goalposts. Just admit that you want to be sad because in the past you've been sad, but you don't have to be sad anymore. It's okay. The Kings are actually good at basketball. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hey, Joe Montana here. Back in my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia, a bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older, or 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like diabetes or asthma, you're at increased risk. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. And Sunday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Nighttime is the right time to track your golf ball's flight time at the Hagen Oaks Top Tracer driving range. It's more relaxed at night with people enjoying the Top Tracer technology where you can play Pebble Beach at Hagen Oaks. You can compete against your friends in a variety of games or just practice with the Top Tracer television technology. There's food when you're hungry from the Hangout food truck or enjoy a craft beer on the brand new patio with relaxed seating. And don't forget the summer-long free concert schedule. It's the Hagen Oaks driving range nightly until midnight. Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Guys, are you ready to give up because you think you've tried everything and you're still dealing with loss of energy, poor sleep, weight gain, and even ED? Revive Men's Health Sacramento has local medical providers that offer low T and ED treatments customized to each patient's unique physical makeup. By working with a specialized compounding lab, personalized treatments are guaranteed, even when generic pills and supplements haven't worked. It all starts with your free comprehensive exam and consultation. Availability is limited. Book today, and for this month only, Revive offers qualified patients a free 1-month supply of personalized ED medication, plus a free ED treatment producing immediate results. The experts at Revive Men's Health Sacramento will work to provide the right treatment for you so you can show up as the best you in all aspects of your life. Call 916-365-4566. That's 916-365-4566. Or send them a private message at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sacktown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SacktownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Got a follow-up text from the 209. I was up against it. Simone was saying clock. Got to get out. Break. She wasn't saying that. She's too nice to say it like that. But 209 was asking the question, is Wemby enough to make San Antonio a better basketball situation than Sac? And I would say probably.
At some point,
I'd say
for sure. But there's going to be a level. There's going to be a limit to it for sure. Like, yeah, maybe role players will be down to sign up and play with Wemby, but it might not be. They still might not be able to get the big time free agents to do it. But yeah, I mean, at some point, again, when it's more just an equalizer. If all things are equal, then yeah, the play or the team is going to set the thing over the top.
Yeah. And okay. I mean, I think that, and I'm saying this like I'm not washed up in an OG, but I do feel like a lot of these dudes, they're living such a luxurious level of life, especially with social media now and things like that, that they can have fun anywhere.
That's what I was thinking too. Or it's either that or it's the inverse of they're so rich that, things that we think like, oh yeah, but Doko is sick. It's like they're never hanging out in Doko ever. So it doesn't matter. And to that point, like maybe there's only a certain amount of cities that can even provide the things that these people want. And again, it's just a matter of the haves and the have-nots where, yeah, there's 5 markets that have things for these hyper rich people, but 25 other markets just, yeah, I mean, like it's all created equal because Sacramento has a bunch of stuff going for it, but how much of those stuff is for middle to, the normal people and not for these multimedia millionaires who, have to be in mansions and private security and all these things. There might not be anything for them in a ton of markets.
Well, and look at Sabonis, right? I mean,
he's living in Napa.
He lives in Napa.
Figure it out.
Right? I mean, depending on what these people like to do. And now I sound like when I was getting pitched to start working here, you're so close to Tahoe.
That's right.
You're still close enough to the city.
Right there.
You're a quick flight away from LA. Yeah. You can, when we moved out from Virginia, my parents were just so surprised. I mean, telling the rest of my family, you can ski in the daytime and go to the beach in the nighttime. It's crazy out here. So it is it's still California, man.
Yeah.
And I think, look, you pay for it. I know somebody's texting about the taxes right now, but I think you cannot sleep on it. You just got to get people to here.
Yeah.
Send them on what do they do? The players now, they do it every other year, but go on visits. You know what I mean? Meet if you get them in the building.
Yeah.
How about this?
I mean, that's what's always happened is every player who has ever came here has always loved it here. Every time when they are actually here, they have nothing but good things to say. There's a famous story about Chris Webber literally crying as he's landing to get here because all he sees is, dead grass and cows and everything. Chris Webber, by the time, there was definitely some ups and downs with the relationship, but by the end of it, Chris Webber, he was here a month ago and had nothing but great things to say about the city and, ended up signing a long contract at one point. Like everybody, Peja, Vladi, you see Bobby Jackson, you see Doug, you see everybody still hang out here. They can go wherever they want and they still have some connection to Sacramento. Even Brad Miller, a guy who, touched some of the good years, but definitely got a lot of, some bad years as well here in Sacramento. He still loves the city. So I think that there's a good track record of people who have, once they've been here, they have a great time and never does it cross their minds, oh, this doesn't quite have what I'm looking for.
You know what's
sure
funny?
Couple,
and maybe I'm reaching here, but you know what's funny? It's funny that a lot of people in Sacramento feel like they deserve, because before this whole thing happened and we know how Vivek feels. He wants Sacramento to take over the world.
Yes.
And
every day he wants an event.
Yes. Before the A's thing became official, even before that, and now people in Sacramento feel like we deserve a baseball team.
Mm-hmm.
We deserve to have a team. We're going to be great fans. Major League Baseball, we're going to convince them that they need a team out here. Is it a culture thing because of basketball? Because how can those same Sacramentans feel so confident about having a baseball team, deserving a baseball team,
being able to support
keeping a baseball team, supporting a baseball team, but on the other side, we're never going to get any free agents because it's Sacramento.
Right.
I don't get where that splits off.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting for sure. You can kind of see how that could be viewed as talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're like, it's I don't really have a good answer for that because I'm not one of those people. Yeah, but those people definitely exist for sure. I don't know. I think that I think maybe it just has to do with, that doesn't necessarily have to do 100% in people's minds with, money. Like, I mean, that is just that has more to do with emotion and civic pride and things like that, and not necessarily not the allure of the city itself.
Are you waiting? I can't wait for the baseball team to come to Sacramento so we can complain about free agents not coming to that team.
Because I'll tell you what, it's a lot worse in baseball, right? The haves and have-nots is a lot worse, especially financially, right?
Because you can do whatever you want with money.
Yeah, you're not getting Aaron Judge here, that's for sure. I mean, not with the money that they would have for their team.
Better move that fence in like Frankie's ballpark. Move it in so I can hit that home run like I'm going to do.
Little toy park
at Sutter Health. All right, off to trade land and the fallout from Pat Riley's comments. Jimmy, so I think Jimmy had his exit interview after Pat Riley had his, and some audio came out from Jimmy. There's also a Heat insider, Wes Goldberg, who had some things to say. First, this is what Zach Lowe had to say about the fallouts from Pat Riley. He was like, and this is a quote, he was like, no, I'm going to hit him with the jab and then the right hook and be pretty blunt about it. That opened up a lot of eyes around the NBA. Let's put it that way. My phone was lighting up during the Riley press conference. They are maybe ground zero for the NBA offseason starting right now. So that's not just Jimmy.
No.
That would be, I think, Tyler Hero. I think there are a lot of guys that people would be interested in. Duncan Robinson, everybody wants a shooter out there. Your guy that you just brought up on the guard free agent list.
Right, yeah.
So, no, I was thinking of the Caleb.
Caleb Martin. Yes.
Caleb Martin as well. So here also is Wes Goldberg from Locked On Heat saying what he expects to happen with Jimmy Butler.
The window's closed. And if the window is closed, then you have to consider, if you're the Miami Heat, well, then how do we get this thing open again? And the answer to that is not giving Jimmy Butler more money as he gets older and worse at basketball. That's not the answer. So I'm going to go far as to say this. I think the smoke and the fire and the noise has been enough. I am at the point now, David, and it's not that I'm rooting for this. I'm just telling you what I expect. I expect Jimmy Butler to get traded this summer.
Bye-bye, Jimmy. And it better not be to the Kings for Keegan Murray.
Yeah. I mean, there's does seem to be a lot of smoke behind it. I mean, between just besides just connecting the dots in general, I mean, I do think well, let's just start here. Let's start with what led Wes on this route. Do you think that Miami's championship window is over?
Yeah.
I would agree. I would think so. Like if Jimmy's
I don't think they ever had one.
Well, I mean, they were in the finals last year.
And they didn't win it.
Yeah, but they could have. I mean,
they shouldn't have been there.
Okay, well, if your championship window is going to the finals, then are they done going to finals?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Then yes, I would say that that if we agree on that, then I would think that trading Jimmy to me makes the most sense, because then you're just paying this guy essentially to do a Kobe, right? Where it's just, hey, we're not trying to win, but like we just want you here to have to keep some form of legitimacy for us, because if you're on our team, people will have to take us at least a little bit seriously.
Right.
And what's the value of that really? You know, it's the question of what does being in purgatory in the NBA do for you? Nothing. Absolutely. Being a 5 through a play-in team does not help you if you're going to be that for 3 to 4 consecutive years. And that seems to be where Miami's going. So if you're somebody who believes that, then I think it makes a lot of sense to trade Jimmy. But if you think there's still one little run left with Tyler Hero still young, Bam Adebayo entering his prime, Jimmy on his last, and yeah, absolutely, Jaime Jaquez. If you think it's just, if you believe that that's Heat fans, the Miami Heat. What do you mean? Who? If the Heat believe that there is one little run left in the window, then you make it. I mean, then you're going to keep Jimmy and you try and ship off Duncan Robinson and get another piece that can maybe help you, be better than you were this past season, because it did not, whatever happened last year did not happen for Miami this year, and they need to figure out how to try and capture that again, because they've got small pieces that are important for them. DeLon Wright, they got Caleb Martin leaving, they got Thomas Bryant leaving, they got tons of players who make Heat culture, guys who are ready to step up through 82 games. They're walking out the door, so they're going to have to retool a little over there.
I feel at home, man. I really care about this city. I really care about the people in this city. Miami has embraced me. They've wanted me to bring them something they haven't done since LeBron, D. Wade, and C. Bosh, and I want to do that. So as soon as I get this knee back right, I'm back on they bleep, and everybody know it. They don't love you like that, Jimmy. It is cooked. It is well done, like my family likes their steaks. All right. When we return, we discuss another star leaving their partnership. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender in the paint. Soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento. It's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile.
Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. While the A's vastly improved play this year has certainly been noticed around baseball, Mason Miller was named the American League Reliever of the Month for March and April. And by the way, no runs allowed in April. And Brett Rooker is the most recent Player of the Week, a week that featured 2 homers in 1 inning against the Miami Marlins at the Coliseum.
Want more speed? Well, Xfinity just increased their internet speeds, and they're faster than ever. It's time to get more out of your internet with faster speeds from Xfinity. Now through June 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for only $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. That's double the speed for the same great price. Click, call, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and other charges extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
Hi, it's Brian from Bennett's Restaurants. Mother's Day is a special day we all enjoy, and we'd love to see you and your mom over the Mother's Day holiday weekend. Come and enjoy prime seafoods and steak. This year, we are featuring a Caribbean spiny lobster tail. They are large and succulent. We serve them with drawn butter, fresh asparagus with hollandaise at our Bennett's Restaurants in Sacramento, Roseville, and Rockland. We offer big variety on the menu as well, so you're sure to find the food you crave. Visit Bennett'sRestaurants.com for reservations. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Eat well and stay well.
Sacramento sports fans, get ready to amp up your summer with the Sacktown Sports live events calendar. We've got a lineup that's awesome. First up on May 24th, don't miss Tribal Seeds as they bring their reggae beats to Ace of Spades, presented by Live Nation. And mark your calendar for June 8th when NF takes the stage at the Golden One Center. Visit livenation.com for tickets and get ready for a killer high-energy show. Don't miss music legends Daryl Hall and Elvis Costello with the Imposters on June 12th, and NSYNC and Backstreet artists Joey Fatone and AJ McLean on June 22nd. 2 great shows coming in June to Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Then looking ahead to August 4th, get ready for the Outlaw Music Festival at the Toyota Amphitheater, presented by Live Nation. The Sacktown Sports live events calendar, your ultimate playbook for the best shows and events in town. Stay tuned to Sacktown Sports for exclusive updates and your chance to win tickets.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. What's going on for Chrysler's It's the Season sales event?
Right now, you can save up to $8,000 off MSRP on those hard-to-find new 2024 Ram heavy-duty trucks, starting as low as $49,495. Plus, we have over 500 new Ram trucks available, which means the Ram truck you want is waiting for you at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
Yeah, but why drive all the way to Hoblet?
We do things different here at Hoblet. You're not just a number. When you buy from Hoblet, you become family. There's a reason we are California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation. We have the big city selection and savings, but the small town feel you can't find at an auto mall.
Now's the time to get the new Ram truck of your dreams. Stop by for a test drive or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
8,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie's after 7,500 dealer discount and 500 factor rebates. 5 of this net savings, 49,495 net price after 2,500 factor rebates. Rebates include 1,500 Ram commercial bonus cash. Not everyone will qualify. 5 of this net savings, sample VIN 197372.
My father was a career United States Air Force pilot, and Memorial Day is a reminder of all he and so many others did for our country. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Right now at the annual Memorial Day sale, everything in the store is on sale. Everything. You'll save 10 to 25% on all living rooms, to sofas, to sectionals, to dining rooms, to bedrooms, to home offices, and so much more. Everything is on sale right now at Naturewood Home Furnishings Memorial Day sale. Whether you're looking to lighten the mood in your living room, brighten up your bedroom, or tighten up your home office, it's all available for you at savings from 10 to 25% at Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop the area's best selection of quality furniture at Naturewood Home Furnishing, off Highway 50 in Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
Someone coming down Chris's road. What else is there? Not fully. you can tell, they call you Watkins, so they're a friend of the show from the 530. Watkins, and I don't know if this is necessarily you. I think this was me.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, actually, no. This is actually spicier than I thought.
It's actually Simone.
I know.
After.
Simone, are you 530?
We're spraying everyone.
Are you 530?
No.
Okay.
916.
What we have named, we say Tapatio Tuesday, Wasabi Wednesday. We don't have one for Thursday.
Yeah.
Because once I read this, we're going down a road the 530 wants us to go down. We need to think of it. Help us.
Okay.
Text line. What's this? What helps? What's good alliteration for Thursday? Is spicy.
I'm going to deploy the Sack chat as well.
Carolina Reaper Thursday. That's too much. It's not that spicy. All right, I'll read it while we think of it. From the 530, and we'll just take this as Stiles and Watkins because I've been the one who is not high on Jimmy more than Chris. From the 530, you seriously wouldn't trade Murray for Jimmy Buckets?
That was you.
Murray is so overvalued in this town. From the 530, nicely done, 530.
Wow.
Is he overvalued?
I just think both things can be true, though. Like I still think it's crazy to trade Keegan, but yeah, sure, he's definitely. I mean, that's what every fan base does. Every fan base overvalues their guy. Ask Golden State Warriors what they think Kuminga's value is.
That's also
right now.
true.
They're going to tell you it's through the roof. They're going to say, I don't know if we want to throw Kuminga in KD trades.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's what every fan base is going to do. I mean, I was the one who said you have to at least think about it. I think ultimately you don't though, like because of Jimmy Butler's age. I mean, we just played audio from somebody in Miami who has seen Jimmy Butler play and has said, I don't think I want to sign up for the next 3 to 5 years of Jimmy Butler. So Sacramento should have some hesitancy in that as well.
Yeah.
I think that it's not a given to trade Keegan for Jimmy Butler. I probably would keep Keegan, but is Keegan overvalued here? Yes, but I don't think it's that far off of what his actual value is. And what Monty McNair himself would value Keegan as well.
Is Keegan overvalued? Yes. Is
but he also
every young
has to be too, because he's the Kings' best asset.
Is every young prospect overvalued in their front office and in their fan base? Yes. And that Kuminga poll is perfect. They probably think you can. They probably don't want to get rid of Moody. What about Moody? Pajemski?
Yeah.
You could find a Warrior fan right now that would say, "What do you want for KD?" All right, but Pajemski and Tracer.
We can't throw them all in there, right? We can't have them all. We got to keep some of them.
Who's going to carry the torch for Steph when he's done? So, yeah, is Keegan probably a smidge overvalued? I will say this for parties that don't have anything to do with Sacramento. I've never seen Keegan less than top 4 on a list of his peers.
Yep. Yeah.
So
for his draft class,
For his draft class. So as far as his value goes, it's not as if we're saying that and he's number 10.
Exactly.
He's top 5 in everything.
Yes.
Top 5 in everything.
Yeah.
But I still no. I'm not, but I didn't even answer your question, 530. I told you, and I'm going to tell you again, I'm not trading Keegan. I feel like Nick Saban. I'm not trading Keegan for Jimmy Butler. So stop asking.
Quit asking.
I'm not doing it. Jimmy, why are the Heat out?
They ran into the Celtics probably.
Why else are they out? Who are they missing, Chris?
Who were they?
Jimmy
missing?
didn't play.
Oh yeah, that's
Jimmy
right. Yeah, Jimmy got hurt. Well, yeah. He got hurt in the
Jimmy
in the
is
series.
34,
Yes,
I believe, turning 35.
Yeah.
How much can he stay on the court? Okay.
It's a totally legitimate
Everything that comes with Jimmy. He's got his
Cal
side
Lowry
quests.
just called him out because he doesn't play games. And I think this is what Jerry Reynolds told us when we asked him the other day. He said, well, the Kings, look at the season they just had. Sabonis played 82 games. Fox played, 75? They still were the 9 seed or the 8, whatever they ended up being. Jimmy Butler played, I don't even know. How many games did Jimmy Butler play this year?
I think people like the idea of Jimmy Butler more than Jimmy Butler.
And that's been my whole pitch is the idea of Jimmy. But that's what I love most about Jimmy isn't even the guy that he is. I've said he's a dog sniffing dog. That's what the Kings need. They need a guy who can diagnose, De'Aaron, he's got it. I've been around him. I know I can go to war with him. I don't know, whatever, throw a random person.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Huerter, I don't think he's got it.
Right.
He's got the same thing he did in Minnesota is what I would want him to do here in Sacramento. But you're right. Like Jimmy Butler, the actual player at this point, I think there's a bit of narrative building. There's a bit of story building where Jimmy is this, ultimate David versus Goliath story where, there's these monsters of LeBron and everyone's trying to crown these guys. And Jimmy, nobody talks about Jimmy, but Jimmy's just a grinder and a hustler. Leads his team to the finals.
We do have the Pat Riley sound if we'd like to play that. Him talking
crazy
about Jimmy Butler.
Let's hear it.
So we played Boston 4 times, I think, in the playoffs since Jimmy's been here. So, you do develop some dislike for the other team, but they are this year, I think, the best team in the league, the best roster in the league. They made some great moves. Brad Stevens did a great job in getting Holiday and Porzingis. They built their bench a little bit differently. And, for him to say that, I thought, is that Jimmy trolling or is that Jimmy serious? If you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut. And your criticism of those teams.
Keep your mouth shut and do your job. Pat Riley.
Jimmy Butler has not played. I just talked about OG Anunoby. Jimmy Butler has not played 70 games since he's been in Chicago, since he left Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Chicago Bulls was the last time Jimmy Butler played over 70 games.
When was that, Chris?
That was 2016-17.
2016?
Yes.
Chris, I wasn't washed up yet.
Yeah.
That's how long ago. I wasn't washed up yet.
Alan was on no, probably not Max Preps. You were on Baseball Reference.
Wow. That's how long ago it was. I had 2 healthy Achilles.
Yep. 59 games, 65.
Come on, man.
55.
Come on.
58.
Keegan,
52.
Keegan
57.
Murray. Mr. 47 points.
And then 60 this year.
Really? From the 530 responding to us. And shout out to the text line on
Shout
fire.
out text line.
I'm seeing some thoughts on the SAC chat. Thirsty Thursday. That meant something different back in 2016. I'm gonna tell you that.
I was thinking Thirsty Thursday.
Oh, we could because you thirsty.
You're saying it's so hot.
That's right. It is getting hot
or something.
TC's gonna tell us it's been hot. My response is Jimmy buckets for Murray requires no thought. Unreal. With 3 exclamation points. And first of all, I don't think they would do that straight up. They would want more.
You can't.
And
they would just straight up can't.
You're giving up more than Keegan for Jimmy. And Chris just read off the numbers. Again, the idea of Jimmy Butler versus actual Jimmy Butler. From the 916, if Keegan is overvalued, why does everyone want him in a trade? LOL.
Sure.
Drops the mic.
Yeah.
916.
I mean, the Kings also, if you're the Kings, you have to overvalue Keegan to almost protect yourself. Because if you don't overvalue him, then that's how you run the risk of just having no good young players. And I think it's what you got to do. It's got what everybody does too. So I don't feel bad about it. I think Keegan is
and it's not ridiculous.
Keegan will not be moved unless it is something that is ridiculous. And I think maybe some of this is scarring from the Halliburton trade still too.
You know who is overvalued probably. And maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. When we talk about, I don't know why we talk about Trae Young leaving clutch. Does that mean he's out on the Lakers? Maybe this is a reach here. Jalen Johnson on the Hawks, right?
Sure.
He's untouchable, but the rest of the roster isn't.
Right.
The Hawks don't believe Jalen Johnson is going to be an otherworldly player, but they're in a situation where they look like a mess and they're trying to save face.
Exactly.
That is a player who is overvalued. But how many people would be clamoring for Jalen Johnson? You would want him, sure. He's got some things he can do.
Right.
But as far as their value versus the market value on Jalen Johnson, that is nowhere near the Kings' value for Keegan versus the market value for Keegan. You could have had Siakam. You could have had OG. They said no on Keegan, and there's a reason for that. All right, when we return, continuing the conversation, keep all the good info flowing. People are feeling good.
Yeah,
it's almost Friday. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
From the 831, I know it's the TH that's making this tough. Turn Up Thursdays. We good with Turn Up Thursdays?
That's fine.
I mean, I guess it's got to be Thirsty Thursday. It has to be,
we're
right?
gonna work on it.
We can work on
we're
it.
gonna
We'll
think
workshop
about it.
We won't settle.
My own personal hotline was suggested Little Friday, which I understand isn't an alliteration, but I still think it's cute.
I posted on my Instagram story, and this is a guy who I used to work with, and he might be around your age, Chris. And I posted something. We were out grabbing a bite to eat, having a bevy, and I took a picture of it, and I said, "Happy Friday Eve, everyone." And he responded saying, "Come on, man."
Shut it down. Shut it down.
What do you think this is? He said, "Come on, man.
Yeah.
You're better than that."
Yeah,
I like Friday Eve. I don't mind Friday Eve. Where is it on the cornball scale?
I don't hate it. I don't hate saying it. I maybe hate posting it.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Is that high on the cornball scale? Okay, on a scale of 1 to Russell Wilson, where is it?
It's pretty.
It's pretty corny, huh?
It's pretty
very corny, very cringe.
You're a dad. It's fine. You're just getting into your element. It's just a little like.
I think I get a gray hair every time I say it.
It's
as
like
well.
it's stepping towards dad being overly friendly with the waitress. Where it's like
what?
It's just like, hey, hi, I'm Derek, and we'll be your clients today or whatever.
Oh my goodness,
it's close. Happy Friday Eve. It's fine.
Right.
I agree with it, and it's sending good vibes for sure. It's
Damn, you just
a little corny.
zip that man down.
Sack Chat, help me out. Sack Chat and the text line, call line 916-339-1140.
I've got no problem with the
Friday
term
Eve. Saying Friday Eve and or posting Friday Eve. Hashtag cool or corny. I know there's some people that are agreeing
Somewhere in
with
between.
me.
No, for sure.
Happy
I'll
Friday
go put
Eve.
a poll up.
Someone
pull up
said
on
530 says that's my Tinder pickup line. Works every time.
What, Friday
What
Eve?
is
Let's go out
that?
Friday Eve?
I don't know.
Hmm.
And, I'm not trying to get in trouble, but
I know. Let's not expose this person either. It works every time. Like, this is a proven method.
That's what they said. What am I, Hitch? What's going on here?
The numbers don't lie.
The first time I heard
What
Friday
does that
Eve.
even mean? It works every time.
Happy Friday
I'm
Eve.
saying it sounds like there's
I think you get
a large frequency.
You get a response. Is what I would assume.
So
You're
he's
getting
just cooking up on Thursday.
Yeah. Because my buddy was telling
he's
me.
like, today's
I guess you got to buy premium for these dating
What?
apps
Dude,
now.
so
Yeah,
out
you
the
can only
game.
send a certain amount of messages on the free version. And you have
Oh, really?
premium, or you can only see certain things unless you pay.
Everything is just going towards those microtransactions, man. I'm telling you.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just different. It's
clarify.
You can see it coming.
1 out of 50.
1 out of 50
every
for
time.
530.
Works every time.
There's someone that's wishing for a batting average that high somewhere. As we continue the conversation, keep them coming, cool or corny. As we continue the conversation, I don't think the audio is super necessary, but Jamal Murray spoke for the first time after his incident and I have the transcripts. Reporter, Jamal, did you expect any punishment from the league? Jamal Murray, nah, it is what it is. I take full responsibility. On to the next. Reporter, was it just frustrations that boiled over? Jamal Murray, yeah, on to the next. It was 2 days ago. Not much to say. Reporter, were there any conversations with people to apologize? Jamal Murray, do you have any basketball questions?
These are basketball questions, I think.
End of conversation.
You know, those are reporters asking the questions that people want to hear, right? Those are tough questions. And you know, that's kind of what we were saying, right? When we talked about, you know, the people saying people weren't asking tough enough questions.
Right.
You know, sometimes this is sometimes
that's
why it
point.
leads to this is because, okay, we want to ask the hard questions. We get these nothing answers. And, you know, I guess it's, hey, if Jamal Murray wants to not answer those questions and sound a little suspect in doing so, then that's on him. That's his decision. But at least you asked. It's just, you know, I don't love those answers. I think Jamal definitely, I guess he doesn't owe anybody an explanation, but at the same time to act as if has nothing to do with basketball or has nothing to do with the story of the series.
Right.
It's like, dude, what? I think the question that the reporter can't outright ask, but I would be tempted to if Jamal's going to be snarky, is you almost got so upset or whatever your emotion is that I'm trying to find out, that you were so that emotion, you were willing to take yourself out of game 3 or the possibility of being taken out of game 3. Why was that? What was the feeling? What led to it? Do you regret that? I think those are all totally fair questions. And Jamal just completely.
He could have just had something. Yeah, he could have just had something.
Hey, not my proudest moment. Whatever.
Yeah,
gotta
just
move forward.
Prepared.
You can still say gotta move forward, but you know, just dismissing it and acting like you're crazy for bringing it up is, I mean, that's disrespectful. It's like that's where it's a two-way street, and like, you know, the media is trying to do their job. Can you help them do their job?
Yeah,
so they don't.
Not great for Jamal Murray. But honestly, Jamal Murray, he's a baller. He basically has the easiest job, right? I mean, he's not the face of the team. That's Jokic. He gets to show up when the playoffs start,
right,
or for every game that's on ABC. He only shows up for primetime games and playoff games. He's got a pretty easy gig. And I guess Jamal Murray just figures, I'm not really that guy, and I'm not ever going to be he's never been an all-star, right? I'm not going to be a face of the league. I don't really care. I'm just here to play a two-man game. And that's one way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would not recommend doing that. I don't know if
and do New Balance commercials.
I don't know what his calculus was behind it, but you know, I think clearly he just didn't want to be asked about it. But you know, it's something that needs to be answered, because again, like he was clearly frustrated enough to take himself out of the series and potentially end their season. I mean, if you go down 3-0, nobody has came back from 3-0 in NBA history. So you're pretty much just sweeping your team underneath the rug. And you know, I do think it's fair to ask him questions about why, about what made you so upset. Were you actually upset? Was it frustration? Did it have to actually do with the referees? Were you upset about your team's performance, about your personal performance? I don't know. I think I just think it's a little bit dirty for Jamal to act like the reporter's the stupid one in this for asking these pretty obvious questions that need to be asked.
Yeah.
Like, did he expect nobody to? I mean, because from my understanding as well, Jamal, we had our little podium gate and all that. Jamal Murray has left, I believe, the last 2 games without answering questions.
Yeah. And I guess
so this is the only time they had.
They're really using their champions can do whatever they want. They're really using that leash
sure.
pretty much to the extent that they can. Yeah, Chris, and I think you make a good point. I feel kind of torn, because I was the one who yesterday said that I didn't really like what Patrick Beverley said on his podcast. And of course, that's another opportunity to phrase and shape things the way that you want to, right? Patrick Beverley tried to explain what happened. He wouldn't get into detail on what was said. And I said, come on, man, just own up to it. He did start off by saying, I have to be better. I will be better, which is a very famous term that a lot of these guys use. I don't think he apologized.
No.
But he said, I have to be better. I will be better, then explains what happened without saying what was actually said. I will say this, though, Chris. Jamal Murray doesn't apologize. The reporter asked, you know, were there any conversations with people to apologize? I will say this for guys, and we know, hey, you don't know, you're not a professional athlete. You were never in the locker room. It's a brotherhood, things like that. That is the one thing I will say. And maybe a text was sent from Jamal Murray to somebody on the Timberwolves, but that's the last thing I will say. You could have hurt somebody.
Yes.
So you might not need to apologize to us nobodies, but I would hope that you apologize to the Timberwolves and, well, your team, I'm sure he did. But I would hope that you apologize to the Timberwolves because you could have injured somebody.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is different than it looks bad, face of the team, leadership conversation.
Right.
That is what it is, fine, but you could have hurt somebody.
Yeah. And then what happens after that? Because what happens if, like you're laying out there, what if Karl Anthony Towns is the one that slips on it, and then all of a sudden T-Wolves are no longer in. Yeah, they might get through the series, but
that would be crazy.
They then can't win the championship because Karl Anthony Towns slipped on a heat pack that Jamal Murray threw.
Quickly, if that happened, let's say Karl Anthony Towns takes a shot, slips, rolls his ankle. Does he now get suspended?
That's a great question because yes, there's no way there's not a chance that he wouldn't get suspended.
Yeah.
He absolutely would have gotten suspended, probably for longer than Patrick Beverley did. If you throw multiple things on the floor and then one of those things gets a player injured, I don't care if it even is like the Sabonis stomp and it was like, oh yeah, Sabonis had to have chest x-rays. I don't care if it's even a small injury. At that point, you have to get suspended. You have to. There's no way. And that's what's, I guess, hypocritical about what the NBA ended up doing, fining him fining him more than what you typically would, but not suspending him. It's like, it's just like what we say with the late whistles. It's like, it's either a foul or it's not. It either is something that you can suspend somebody for or it's not. Results shouldn't matter.
That's true.
It shouldn't matter if the ball goes in or not. It shouldn't matter if somebody ended up getting hurt or not. The reality is you put it in a situation to where things could have gone wrong.
Coming up next, funny story about a former King from a GM and also from the guys. And we see you, Steven. We will get to you as well. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with insulation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sunrise Marketplace invites you to the region's best backyard hangout on May 18th, featuring craft breweries, home brewers, food trucks, games, live music, and more. Use discount code BREW24 for $5 off general admission tickets now at shopsmp.com and help support Citrus Heights Art and Citrus Heights Rotary.
Maida Chevy saves you $12,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LT 5.3 liter in stock after rebates. Always 5 to choose from.
Exclusive, all in-stock pricing at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 5/31/24.
Hagen Oaks Demo Days is in the home stretch, and this is your last chance to register for an individual fitting appointment with the manufacturer's fitting staff from Ping, TaylorMade, Mizuno, Callaway, Cleveland, Strixon, and Zexio. You've waited many long months for the new golf season, and Hagen Oaks has your new golf gear right now. Book your individual Hagen Oaks Demo Days fitting appointment. Call 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531 for your personal fitting. Hagen Oaks, Fulton Avenue at Cap City Freeway or HagenOaks.com.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics, the Hot Tub Store, and Cattleman's.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
This beat is so cold, though.
It's freezing.
I mean, I feel like to this beat, you got to go on a run. I want to, but we go Freestyle Friday tomorrow. I feel like I can go on a run to this beat, but it's got to be at night. You can't run to this beat in the daytime, right?
Yeah. And you have to be the underdog in whatever you're doing.
Right.
I remember the Giants had one of the coldest, ads for them making the postseason to this song. And it was like a wild card game, win or go home. And it just changed me in 2014.
You're definitely talking New York Giants.
No.
The San Francisco Giants use this?
Yes. But it was a win or go home wild card situation.
Really?
It gave me chills.
How did I miss that? This is a fun one. From the 530, a lot of 530. These are different 530s as well. This whole time, I don't really know what this means, if someone can help me. This whole time, I thought Stiles was Watkins and Watkins was Stiles.
Oh.
Yes.
Now it makes sense. I can't believe I liked Watkins more than Stiles. JK, love you both.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out which one, what they were saying. So
I can't believe I liked Watkins more than Stiles, but you were Stiles. So they like you more than me.
Hell no.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
530.
JK, love you both. That's from the 530. Great stuff. What a great Thursday. The weather's nice. It must be payday soon for somebody.
Check us out on YouTube. It might help you be able to.
That's right. That's right. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out.
Up as well on the YouTube.
Poll is up? Okay.
Poll is up.
Oh, yeah. Let's figure this out.
Thursday Eve. And by the way, Jess, I saw you on the Sack Chat. Jess, you think everything I do is corny, so your vote doesn't count. Your vote does not count, Jess. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Steven, our guy, wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Steven? What you got for us?
Not much, man. You guys ever had a very embarrassing moment on the radio or in front of somebody during an interview? That was me yesterday, Chris. So when you got asked that question yesterday by Simone, and she asked you the snap of the glove and the crack of a bat, which one do you like better? And then you're over here. All right, here we go. Story time with Cardwell. Okay, so we're sitting here. You guys are talking about it and all that stuff. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself while I'm at work, like, dang, that's a really good question. Like, that's a solid question. And I was sitting here thinking like, oh, this was in the previous show. Like, I was thinking she asked us and put it on with you guys because, Alan being, the in-house baseball player, that pro. So I get on after Emil gets on for the rest of the show. And I ask him the same question, thinking like, oh man, what do you guys think of this great question that Simone asked? And I was like, she asked it in the last hour. And then Whitey, after I hung up, Whitey's like, no, that wasn't it wasn't in the last show. It was in the last hour, Stephen. And then they had a good old moment with it. So I felt kind of embarrassed a little bit. So my question to you, long-winded. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you during an interview with like someone famous or maybe on the radio? Have you guys ever had that moment where you just look back at yourself and you're just like, ooh, cringe?
Man, I'm trying to think if there's anything specifically.
Thanks, Steven.
Yeah, thank you, Steven, of course. I'm trying to think if there's anything specifically in Vegas that happened that maybe I can't think of anything that's sticking out.
Well,
but I
that
was like a pressure test of like
I have one too, right behind you.
I have one that I can't share.
I don't know.
I could share it to you guys after, but I can't share it on here.
I don't know if this is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened, but just off the top of my head, I mean, I've had plenty of embarrassing things, but as far as what Steven is saying, the only thing I can think of is we were interviewing. I think we were interviewing Alec Ingold.
Okay.
And I had my timeline. # somebody said Marvel Thursday. I had my timeline wrong for Alec Ingold's time on the Raiders.
Oh, okay.
So it was either I thought that I asked a question where I thought he didn't make it to Vegas, or he was not with them in Vegas, and he was in Vegas, and he was very nice and kind of slyly said, "Oh, I actually was." That's not funny or anything at all, but that's just the first thing I can think of off the top of my head. I thought that it was something to where I thought that he was still with the Raiders and he wasn't, or vice versa, something like that. That's just I mean, if we're talking about embarrassing stories, not in. Yeah. Oh, I did have one. This was at the other station, and we were interviewing Steve Kerr. And when you listen back, it's not that bad, but in the moment, I was just freaking out. So Steve Kerr would come on every Thursday, and it was and I was filling in, of course, and it was, pull the curtain back when Chris and I are doing conversations, and Chris and I, it's our show, so we know each other a little bit better. It's kind of a look, right? And you kind of raise your hand if you want to add on to a question, but we just kind of go pity-pat back and forth. So Steve Kerr, first time interviewing Steve Kerr, a little nervous.
Of course.
And this is not my show. It's the Drive Time show, and we're interviewing him. I'm all juiced up. I'm putting it on my social media. And it was one where the host asked the question. I don't know what happened, man. I don't know if I got lost in thinking that I had just asked. I don't know, but he asked a question. Steve Kerr answered, and I'm looking at the host, and the host is looking at me like, dude,
it's you.
It's your turn. And there's just dead silence. And I listen back, and I'm like, trying to convince myself. I'm like, it's not that bad.
You can't really tell, maybe.
And it killed me, man. Yeah. It killed me. That's one of the more embarrassing ones I had.
I feel like I'm far enough away to tell the story of Alex Len and the during media day. That was definitely number one for me. That I feel like is funny enough, but also touches the line of like, maybe you shouldn't share it. But I think it's clear. During what was that media day? Me and Whitey were out there and talking to all the guys. They all gave great interviews, and Alex Len, funny enough, was probably one of the best interviews we gave. But obviously, no laughing matter at all. But Alex is from Ukraine, and the Russia-Ukraine war had just kind of been. I mean, it's going on, and he's just kind of in the throe of it. And we asked Alex, like, hey, obviously, is there anything we can do? Is there any charity we can give to? Do you have any personal connections that if Kings fans want to reach out and help, how can they help? And Alex Len's answer, which me and Whitey joke about all the time, is he said, well, we need weapons.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't quite the answer we were looking for. We were looking a little bit more for like charitable donations, hey, Red Cross is always a great organization. Right. And Alex said, no, we can use some firepower. And I was like, all right, don't quite know if that's above board.
Something. Yeah.
It was definitely something.
It definitely was something.
Led to a great.
Can I share?
Yeah.
Because I just destroyed our poll. I put up I put up Thursday Eve when I meant to put up Friday Eve, so that I got the sack chatters
most
already.
embarrassing moment already, Simone.
No, but
Simone.
I
Rickford.
absolutely. Back in the day, I used to work on the Carmichael Dave show with Jason Ross, and I was actually there for the origins of the Friday Fun and Games. And there was one Friday Fun and Games where they asked me to name 5 gyms, 5 famous gyms. And I got so I could not do it, that all of the rest of the answers or all the other categories that they presented to me, I mean, I was bombing. It was like, name 5 AFC quarterbacks. And I was like, Derek Carr, and it was struggle bus. So yeah, I've absolutely been destroyed on air.
I will say, in your defense, you said name top 5 gyms, and I was like, do you mean like the name
Gold
gym or like gold
Right.
gym?
I thought when you said that,
I was like,
arena?
I would have frozen as well,
Jim
especially if it's one
Halpert.
of your first times on
threw out Jim Boys. I was it was real bad. Jim Boys, and it was accepted by the
top
audience.
5. That's definitely
Yes,
top 5
that's-
for sure.
That's nicely done.
Jimbo.
Speaking of, it wasn't necessarily nicely done how time ended for Frank Vogel in LA. He has been officially fired. So
In Phoenix.
JJ in Phoenix, excuse me, in Phoenix. So yeah, I mean, nobody's talking about JJ in Phoenix. I don't know who will go into that pool, but Frank Vogel is out with the Suns. Frank Vogel had already been fired from the Lakers as well. Quickly, shout out 530 again, keeping it hot.
Love 530.
Stiles and Watkins, love you guys. I drive around Sac every day for work, and y'all get me through the good and bad days with a heart emoji.
Wow.
Don't see a lot of emojis
That's
come
love
through
right
on
there.
the text line. Shout out to you, 530. I hope you
Yes.
have an amazing rest of your Friday Eve.
That's right.
Crosstalk up next with the Drive Guys. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
We love the game because anything can happen. There's no sure thing.
How did that go in?
Every play,
Oh my goodness!
every shot,
Are you kidding me?
every swing is a risk if you bet.
I can't believe that just happened.
There's no easy money. There's no luck. And no one wins all the time. If you bet, bet responsibly and always set a limit. Learn more at responsibleplay.org.
In a world where everybody and their mother makes a primed trim board, contractors have to ask one question. Do I know what's under the primer? Available at just about every lumberyard you can imagine. Vintage trim boards are made from lodgepole pine. That's the stuff telephone poles and railroad ties are made of. It's durable. It's straight. It's been doing the job for generations. Manufactured right here in the USA. Ask for it by name. VintageTrimboards.com.
Hey, movie fans, playing this week at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the IMAX experience.
This was a human place. It is not yours.
It is now, isn't it? The combination of groundbreaking visuals and the immersive experience of the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen will make this an epic event. Don't miss out on the opportunity to see the next chapter, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes at the Esquire IMAX Theater. Grab your tickets at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seat today.
Contact Tax Relief Helpers for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, and other hostile measures by the IRS. Call Tax Relief Helpers right now at 800-934-9217. Tax Relief Helpers will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called
called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes, and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-934-9217 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217. 800-934-9217.
Seems like all this artificial intelligence stuff stirs up the age-old debate of man versus machine. Hi, it's Dan from the Good Feet store, and let me ask you, would you let a robot cut your hair? Would you rely on an app to teach a kid to ride a two-wheeler? Let's face it, some things require the human touch. People come to us seeking a solution to foot, leg, and back pain after trying all kinds of things recommended by in-store machines or website blurbs. An impersonal, generic approach to solving a problem that's unique to you. No wonder they usually don't work. At the Good Feet store, you'll meet with an arch support specialist who will take the time to learn about your needs, your feet, your lifestyle, and then fit you from over 300 models and sizes of arch supports, designed for pain relief, better balance, and more comfort.
Do you have sore feet, an aching back, or plantar fasciitis? Then get to the Good Feet store nearest you for your free arch support fitting. Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet store.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $59. Bonnie. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Sacramento has a new tag team in the midday. It's Stiles and Watkins on Sacktown Sports.
We are back with Kevin, Michael, Whitey, Gleason.
Hello. Sorry, I just turned your headphones up.
No, it's fine. I
should
have put it in the other
all
jack, but we can share these.
Is that better?
No, I can't hear anything.
Now we good?
There you go.
Now? Yeah.
So who is it I just want to, all week, we're just starting off with who's on the show.
Jay is back today.
Jay is back.
Yeah.
Speaking of launch angle, Jay is back.
Yes, and then Drapes is back on Monday.
Gotcha.
Nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Then who is it? Well, I'll save tomorrow for tomorrow.
Oh, it's me and Jay tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's Jay tomorrow.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
Great stuff. What hat are you wearing there?
You don't recognize it?
What is that?
Oryx Buffaloes from they play in Osaka.
I only recognize the seaweed. So
Oh, yeah.
Vallejo.
Japanese.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's today, I'm wearing it. Today is 5950 day. It's 5'9", 5950 day.
What does that mean?
5950 makes the hat.
The hats.
5'9",
Yes.
5950.
59. There you go. Yes. Okay.
They make the
I
hats.
should have known.
Yeah.
They make the
I
hats.
should have known that.
Can you get a Gus Johnson? They make the hats.
They make the hats that go on your head. There you go. Whitey, what did you make of Jamal Murray? Just a little bit short on his answers, really didn't want to spend too much time on it. Do you think that he should have said something more to maybe, and I said, Chris, maybe hopefully he sent a text to the Timberwolves or something, because forget about us, right? Media, you can even say forget about the fans. Their whole thing is we're in this brotherhood.
Yeah, not like us, you're saying.
Not like they're nicely done.
Hey,
Wait,
there we
are you
go.
done with the beef, by the way? Are you done with the beef track? The
Not
diss
quite,
track?
because I haven't had a chance to talk to Jay about it because he's been gone. So I got to see what he
Oh,
says.
I can't wait.
And then it's like, okay.
That's tonight that you're talking today?
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait.
And
I
Jay's
cannot
been
wait.
loving the new Kendrick too.
Oh, I know.
I
He's
saw him
all over.
tweeting
This is the
about
most
it.
I've ever seen him tweet.
Yes,
And
exactly. except
He's
for
all
this.
over it. But, yeah, it's this. We're a brotherhood. There's only so many of us NBA players. And that's really where I got to with this, as far as, all right, Jamal, you don't owe anything to anybody else, but I really do hope you sent something to the Timberwolves, because that's pretty messed up. if you're not going to do it publicly, hopefully you send a text to somebody.
Yeah, to me, I understand your point. It's a good point. To me, too much is made of that already. And if any of them had a problem, I'm sure he'll deal with it. But the problem for them is they're just, they're getting disemboweled, and they know it. And that's what's going on. And it's easy to blame the officials, but they're the defending champs, and 2 games in, it looks like they have no chance. So I think that's a larger thing. I think it's frustration because of that. That's got to be a hard thing to come to terms with. Like, we can't beat these guys.
Yeah. When's the last time?
It's not an excuse, but I think that's what's going on.
Right. And I thought he should have been suspended, at least for a game. But when is the last time? I feel like Whitey would randomly know this. When is the last time a team won a series after losing the 2 first games at home?
2021 Clippers did it to Dallas, I think.
Wow.
I was going to expect Whitey to just throw out a random date. That's what I was
Yeah.
It was actually January 7th.
Clippers beat Dallas after losing the first 2 games.
Yeah, I think so. It was, or was it the other way around? I believe that's what happened.
Chris, we were talking, and I continue to apologize to Oklahoma City when we were discussing the Kings playing the Pelicans and home court advantages. I mean, the Clippers have the worst home court advantage in the NBA, right?
I would think so. I mean, I don't know what their appetite is out there for Clipper basketball. Obviously, the Lakers just have a stranglehold on that entire
I have
city.
one Clipper fan. I have one Clipper
I don't think I've
fan.
ever actually met a Clippers fan, like a bona fide Clippers fan.
That's a great point.
I have
There's just
one.
Very few of them.
I don't even think I've seen somebody, say, I'm not a fan of the Clip, or I'm not they're not my number one.
The
but I really
Workaholic
enjoy
Boys.
Workaholic guy. Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's it.
That's
Didn't
it.
we do a segment on that with football teams?
Yes, we
once?
did. Yeah, it was like we didn't know any
Houston
Texans.
Texans.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
We found a couple.
Yeah.
It's weird. There's some pockets there.
Yeah, there's some pockets that just don't really have much of a national fan. Like, it's just kind of hyper local or in the area. Whitey, I'm curious too. We were talking a lot about the Rick Carlisle stuff, and obviously I assume you're going to talk about it, so not going to step on your segment, but I think the thing
good. Don't worry about it.
I think
Stomp on
the angle we took of it was, do you think there's a way to voice your distaste with how a game is being officiated without coming off like a sore loser if you're on the losing end of things? Or will it always be you just sound like you're complaining? Oh, you wouldn't be saying that if you win. Is there any way of doing it correctly? Or is it just something where, if you're Rick Carlisle, I don't really care. I just am trying to get a point across.
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's funny, isn't it? Because he's tried both ways here. First game's like, oh, we're not going to get any officiating.
Exactly, right.
And then, boo!
We're going to submit it all.
I think that's
78 missed calls.
Yeah, that's a playoff tradition. Coaches realize squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah,
it goes,
right.
I mean, going all the way back, Adelman and Phil Jackson, and they would both do it. And I think coaches do it because I think there's evidence that it works, and it's part of coaching. And he probably knows, I'm going to look like an idiot, a crybaby here, but I'm going to do it because we might benefit from it.
Do you think that it has crossed over from the 2 first games in New York? And I've been complaining about this for weeks with the Knicks, right? Do you think that it has crossed over from home court advantage to, all right, we have to make sure that the balance isn't way off? Or do you think Carlisle is, hey, I got to do what I got to do? Basically, what I'm asking is, do you think it's been fair, the games in New York?
I don't know. I could understand why the league wants the Knicks to do well. And certainly there have been some calls that suggested that there's, on some level, maybe it's subconscious, there's an effort to make sure the Knicks do well. And that takes us, again, all the way back to, the Lakers and the Kings. And when Rick Carlisle talks about small market, we're a small market team, but we should have a chance. The NBA, I think, at some point has to address that. They have to at least acknowledge that a lot of people think that.
Raptors coach did it when they lost to the Lakers.
Yeah. So are they just going to ignore it? That's what they've been trying to do. It's a really terrible look for the league. And I buy into it to a degree. So I think at some point the league has to address that in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just to come out and go, look, that's not the case. Just address that people feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, we also talked about markets today too, and just more so in terms of free agency, because I've been releasing these Kings target free agent lists, and We just get people who say, no free agent has ever or will ever come to Sacramento. What's the point of these things? Do you feel like Sacramento has gotten to a point to where I don't know if the market is, do you feel like the market is still hurting Sacramento in these free agency talks?
Yeah, I don't know.
Any more than what it is to, I mean, because I think the point that we got to is, look, there's LA, New York, Miami, the Bay, Chicago, whatever. Those are those places. And it's pretty much those places and everybody else. There's not really much of a difference between Sacramento and Minnesota and OKC and all of these places. It's either you are those places or you're not. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. And the interesting thing there about what you said, you might want to tell Bay Area boy over there. I'm not sure. We've had this discussion, when Al and I were at the station in San Francisco, we've had this discussion there. It's like, is San Francisco / the Bay Area, is that a free agent destination? I know the Giants had some success.
Right.
49ers get guys here and there, and Kevin Durant went there. But, the taxes and everything and the weather's not the greatest. I'm not sure it is. I mean, we all love it there.
Yeah.
It should be. I'm not sure it is. And if it isn't because of some of the, tax things and things like that, then, I mean, that's going to affect us here too.
Yeah.
But I know who's the biggest free agent signed here. Vlade was a free agent when he signed here.
Yep. Malik. You can argue Malik now.
Yeah, that's right. Although at the time that wasn't that big of a signing, right?
Yeah. No, it wasn't headliner news. They signed him for $9 million a year. So it was just kind of another move that happened that year. So yeah, I mean, and I would also say though, it's not just Sacramento that's like that. Yeah, Boston complains about it all the time. They say their best free agent signings, Gordon Hayward. So I kind of think everybody deals with not getting free agents. And if you're not LA or New York, like people aren't going to view you as a destination.
Yeah. My prediction, by the way, the next coach of the Phoenix Suns will be Matt Ishbia's friend, Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, that would be a train wreck.
Really?
That would be terrible. Because it went so well the first time Isaiah was a head coach. Went so well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we will see what happens in Phoenix.
A bad Pacific Division team. So
yes, seriously. Also, what happens in LA? But we know what's happening right now.
What?
It's the Drive
Yeah,
guys
that's right.
with Whitey Gleason and Jay Johnson hopping in for Kyle Draper. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Thank you to all the calls. They were great today. Text line was on fire on a Thirsty Thursday. Also, the Sack Chat. Thank you to Simone, doing a great job with all that audio and everything else as well. Until tomorrow, happy Friday Eve. Secure the bag, light the beam.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud